Hello everybody, welcome to the Tuesday show. My name is James Chen and we are joined by Mr. Ultra David, Mr. Tubaware. How you guys doing?
Well.
Is that how you're doing? Very well.
Exactly right. How about you?
All right. I'm getting by. I can't complain. Life is grand, swell, whatever you want to call it, as much as it can be.
Okay, fair enough. It's
Yeah.
2020 still, although not for very much longer at this point. Only a couple weeks
Yeah.
left. So today, like y'all can see, we're going to talk about some news, what happened. We're going to talk about some other very interesting questions in 5-5 matchup. Sephiroth in Smash. The Game Awards happened, as I know everybody knows, and was super interested. Yuel joins GBVS. There's some other news in there as well, including a patch. And so we are bringing EbonicPlague on to talk about that stuff. That's our guest for today. We're going to talk about the WePlay Dragon Temple on our 5-5. Again, there's other fun topics that will be there as well. There's some other game community news. There's some upcoming stuff. There's some other tournament results to get to. But yeah, let's begin by talking about this Sephiroth in Smash.
Sephiroth.
Good old Sephiroth.
You know the worst thing about it is someone made some tweet about Sephiroth's mom, about how attractive she is, and so then Sephi's mom got stuck in my head like Stacy's mom, you know, Sephi's mom's gotta go. And then apparently there's a whole YouTube video about that with that parody in there already, so...
Do we even see Sephiroth? Is this like a real character? Sephiroth's mom is a visible character in some
apparently
Okay,
I don't know.
Sure.
I don't remember.
I don't know if it's in the... I mean, someone showed, I think, like the 8-bit... I'm sorry, not the 8-bit, but the PS1 blocky version.
Okay.
And then there's also the remake one that she looks a lot better now or something like that, so...
I would hope so. Wow, thanks for the subs and gifted tiered subs, everybody. Zero the Hero and Sonic Supremacy. High five, y'all.
Yeah, thank you for all
So,
the subs.
as far as Sephiroth, all right, here's what happened. So, as everybody knows and was paying rapt attention to, the Game Awards took place. Everybody's favorite event. We had it on our calendars for years in advance. We were waiting for the Game Awards 2020. And one of the things that they announced was that, well, Sephiroth is coming to Smash. There was a great video announcing him. I don't know. I guess do you want to bother playing it? I don't know.
The trailer?
Nah.
We're probably going to get DMCA'd for that.
I just think it was cool. So in all of these trailers that have shown new characters coming into Smash, it's like, here's an invitation, right? They've made this a whole shtick of the invitation that gets there with the seal on it.
Well, which, by the way, he got from King of Fighters, so...
Smash's brand new idea with the seal and the envelope they're inviting people with. And Sephiroth just ignored that, right? Like, it wasn't even about getting invited. It was just like, guess what? Sephiroth's coming down from the sky. He's gonna just swing in with his sword, and he just appears. And like, none of the characters in the cast want him. Like, they're all trying to fight him immediately. Nobody wants him there, and he's there anyway. And I thought that was really funny, really well done. It looks cool to me. I don't know. What'd you think about the trailer itself?
Trailer was cool, yeah. I mean, it's a lot different, I think, from my perspective, because I don't care about Final Fantasy, and I don't really play Smash competitively. So, it's hard for me to get as excited about character announcements when I don't play the games, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't play either game, so it's kind of just like cool for Final Fantasy Smash fans. I mean, Sephiroth is like a figure in all RPGs now. I mean, he's a legendary character. It's cool for them. And the trailer obviously was very well done. All of them have been. It's Nintendo. Yeah. They have a lot of money to spend on that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was cool, but I definitely wasn't paying attention to the game show or the Game Award show.
What?
No. I didn't even watch it.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
I can't believe this guy. You know, our job is to inform the people, making sure that we watch all the more important things.
I think you're like the only person on the planet who wasn't watching the Game Awards. Clearly,
you know, I didn't watch the Seinfeld last episode either, so I'm just a hipster, I guess.
How dare you compare such an unimportant moment like the Seinfeld last episode to the Game Awards 2020. I'm
I
offended.
know, right?
They were equally unimportant to me.
When my mom gave me a call about the Game Awards 2020, she was like, "David, did you see that Sephiroth's in Smash?"
Right?
Wow.
I mean, look,
Yep.
literally, my brother texted me and was like, I found Sephiroth just got announced for Smash. That's how I found out. My brother was what found out about that. So clearly he was watching the Game Awards as well.
Right.
So
He's a real gamer. I'm not. What can I say?
Well, I think that's true, pretty much. Yeah.
look, the trailer was obviously super well done. Their trailers are all really good. And I think one of my favorite, I mean, obviously the moment of the trailer was Sephiroth skewering Mario, right? I mean, that's gonna be a meme forever. And someone actually said that it's too bad we still don't have forums, because that would have been everybody's signature picture, and it's so true.
Yeah, there were Sephiroth fans all over web forums back in the day. That is for sure.
Oh man, have him
You
stab
know,
him.
Mario didn't die. It was only, being picked up by his lapel right there. It wasn't actually like he died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Mario's got his ass kicked in like
Yeah.
every trailer with a villain.
I was gonna say, yeah, he gets beat up.
body.
Dude,
Like
no,
he has been eaten, basically. Like
no
he
one's
has
gotten
died
as
before.
badly bodied as Luigi, right? Like Luigi literally died.
Rough.
But I mean, look, obviously very hype. A lot of people super excited about there. A lot of big Sephiroth fans out there.
Yeah.
You know me, I'm not the biggest Final Fantasy VII person, even though I am a huge Final Fantasy fan. I've always felt like Sephiroth's kind of overrated as a villain because he's, I don't know, it's just that whole like edgy edgelord kind of shit, again, where he's just like, clearly he's designed to appeal to people as a super evil boss instead of the weird, crazy, psychotic clown from Final Fantasy VI, who I love to death as the main boss. But I can't knock it because I know everybody loves Sephiroth and I know everybody's going to be super excited about it. I think it's kind of boring, and it's also just one of the things, the way they made the trailer, like I feel like if Sephiroth is in the game, he needs a mechanic where if you can't knock him off the stage before he gets to 150 health, then he gets super powerful, yells, "I can't control it!" and then all of a sudden just like slaughters everybody, because he needs to be like the most powerful character in the game. Like that's how I feel at this point.
That was very
No Marvel 3 player in the world is going to tell you that Dark Phoenix should be in another video game ever. I do not approve of this message, James. No. Dark Phoenix is a bad idea.
Hey,
no,
man.
never again.
Look at TJ Combo, right? He can do it too, right?
Yeah, but he got an ounce of health and nothing else. That's it.
yeah.
He gets a little bit of health back.
In fact, he had to give up that instinct during the round to have that little bit.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. He gives up a lot just to have that second shot.
You can't use any supers when you want to get Phoenix,
Oh,
right?
Hey, fair enough. Fair enough.
Who needs supers when she kills in one touch?
Yeah, I know, right? Oh,
Who needs
man.
it?
Are you
But
kind
yeah,
of bad
I
about
mean-
the best fighting game of all time, Tubbo aware? It sounds like you might be. So let's move on to just talking about Smash itself. As far as me, like I somehow we've gotten 3 gamers together on a show, and actually none of us cares about Sephiroth. That doesn't make any sense. I don't know how that happened. How did that happen? Did
Because we're
have
fighting
to
game
default
players.
select? But
It's because we're fighting game players.
well, I care about plenty of other video games and characters. James is a huge mark for half of Final Fantasy,
Yep.
and he happens not to care about this. Like I don't know. Like I'm not that interested in it myself, but what I'm most interested in Smash, obviously, and just in fighting games in general, is like how the character plays. So the character's in there. That's cool. I'm happy for everybody who does care about that. I'm not like against it in any way. I think that's cool. And he's, in the same kind of caliber of like classic video game characters that everybody knows
It was a good
about.
pick.
It's a good pick from that angle, absolutely. I just am a little bummed that like there's another Marth in the game. There's like Long Marth now.
Long Marth.
I know. I was about to say. I know David in particular is excited about a sword character, right? So,
I'm not into. I don't need Long Marth. Yeah, I
Long
don't know.
Marth.
Long Marth.
I could do without that. And he seems to have counters as well. Like, I just don't need... That's my only issue with this. The other characters that they've been putting in lately, Min, weird. Big weirdo. Then Steve, even weirder. Maybe the weirdest character they've ever made. And a lot of the DLC have been, like, upping it in various ways of, like, weird, unusual mechanics that Smash hasn't previously had. That's been, like, I would say a major theme along most of their DLC. And then you have... I think there's, like, another Girl Marth, right? That was one of the DLC. And then Long Marth. And it's the difference between, like, extremely complex Steve that they had to reprogram stages to be able to use, that they made extremely complicated. And then here's just, like, a long sword character. It seems like such a disparity to me. I'm like,
is Dalsum just, like, long cami then? Like, what do you...
No, Min is Dalsum, right? Min is Dalsum in
Sure, okay.
Like these long...
I mean, like, just in general, like, Long Marth. That's... I'll never call him Sephiroth again.
See,
Long Marth. From now on.
That's why he needs this Phoenix mechanic in the game, man. So just to make him different, right? I mean, that's the thing is, like, he's clearly supposed to be OP, right? He's supposed to be like, I'm Sephiroth. I destroyed the entire universe with this meteor that came through and blew all the planets up, which will be easier soon because I think Jupiter and Saturn are supposed to be aligned pretty soon or something like that. But
21st.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, like, he's going to come in here and he's going to get beat up by, you know, Jigglypuff, you know? Like, Sephiroth is going to lose to Jigglypuff or to Pikmin or something like that.
Correct. Stay free.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that's going to feel weird, but look, I know what everybody's excited about is now people can actually just make Cloud and Sephiroth fight, which they've never been able to do before, except in Air Guys, maybe? Could you use Sephiroth in Air Guys? I can't even remember.
Pretty sure Sephiroth was in Air Guys, yeah.
Okay.
I know Cloud is.
Okay.
I can tell you that much.
So, you know what? That's not even new. They've been able to make them fight a long time ago, so that's not even the new cool thing about this Smash Brothers. So, yeah, Dissidia, they've been able to fight before, so there you go. So, there's nothing new happening with this character in Smash Bros. No,
well, look, we'll find out more. There's going to be a showcase that Sakurai will do on the 17th, which is in just a couple of days. So, we'll find out more pretty soon. And maybe it is the case that he has something unique in there. Like, there have been so many interesting and unique things that they've done. Hero has, like, all these very strange things. Like, it is conceivable that they could have some additional funky mechanic in there. They showed, like, late stage Sephiroth in the trailer, which could just be like Final Smash for him or something. Or it could be something that's more accessible than that. I mean, we don't know yet. So there is a chance that there's going to be something more interesting in there. But it also could be the case that, you know, they're, on the one hand, working on these very complex characters that they needed to reprogram the game in some ways to actually do. And maybe then they also just wanted to have another character without taking all of that time. Like, that was probably very resource intensive to make Steve. And then you could make Sephiroth, and there's going to be some resources in there, but to not have to, like, reprogram stuff or, like, create, like, a brand new menu mechanic or whatever it is. Maybe that would be a little bit easier to fit in at the same time. So I don't know. It could be that it was to sort of conserve resources, but hey, they could still have very weird stuff in there. We'll find out in a couple days. Yeah. I personally, I'm hoping that there's going to be something more, clearly. But.
I mean, with the way that they have been designing the characters, I wouldn't be surprised if there was something more, just because they have been so creative recently. So I'm kind of excited. I mean, I'm excited to see what they'll do with him. I mean, he might just end up being Long Marth. But then, like I said, if he is Long Marth, he's going to be super good. Because Marth has already, you know, always been good because he has the range and everything like that. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with him.
We'll find out on the 17th.
Just a couple of days. Yes, sir.
I really do hope his final smash... I mean, they said that the final smash apparently is that final form Sephiroth, but his final smash should have taken 5 minutes and just slowly animated the planets getting destroyed one by one, and then it hits the stage and everyone just explodes and there's no way to avoid it. I think that would
be great. So he's going to be, as they all have been, $5.99 by himself. The Fighters Pass 2 is $29.99 in total. There's already Min Min and Steve in there. And then there's going to be Sephiroth. And then there's going to be 3 more characters as well. But we don't know all of them quite yet.
They need to make one of those trophy. You know how there's the trophy assists that are kind of like the Pokeballs, basically, and you throw the trophies out and they just basically wreak havoc in the game, like Waluigi. Yeah. They need to make one for Knights of the Round if they haven't already. So like you just throw it and the Knights of the Round come out, and like these knights just come out and just like destroy everybody for like 10 minutes, and there's like nothing you can do. I think that would actually be kind of cool. So
I've never heard you bring up the idea of having Knights in the Round in there before. That's interesting.
Have I not said that before, or have I said that before?
I mean, you've wanted Dirk in there for like the last 5 years, but
yeah, that's what I've heard is Dirk.
Yeah.
Do you know what Knights of the Round is?
Yeah, I mean, I remember the arcade game from, I don't know, early 90s.
No. I'm talking about the summon spell in Final Fantasy VII, Knights of the Round, where when you call it, it just takes
itself. I thought we were talking about another. James, when you want things in Smash, what I think of is, what's the old maniest version of whatever you're talking about?
Yeah.
I'm actually flabbergasted that you are referencing something in a PlayStation 1 game. That's way too recent for you.
I know, right? It's like... Oh man, no, because the Knights of the Round in Final Fantasy VII was like the most powerful summon, and then you could mimic it, and you just basically sat there and waited for like 10 hours for the whole thing to finish and everything. So I think that would be amazing.
I can't believe it. By the way, thanks to Joker for the gifted sub. A couple of them. Damn, nice work. Thank you very much.
Because with that, right? the way you guys were reacting, all I could think to myself was, they don't know what I mean by Knights of the Round.
I was just like, yeah, Dirk. You wanted Dirk. I don't know what else you're talking about. Yeah. By the way, viewers at home, if you guys are ever entertained by anything, feel free to clip it so we can use it later. It's way easier if you guys clip stuff for us than if we go do it ourselves. So make our content creation easier, you jerks. Jeez.
Man. I feel like somebody's going to clip that and be like, oh,
I know. Right?
I'm okay with that.
All right, you want to move on to the next one? We've run out of time here.
Yeah, move on.
Let's talk about this thing that it was super important that Tubo skipped. I can't believe at all. I tuned in for like a total of like 5 minutes and watched the Game Awards for like 5 minutes. I can't believe you didn't watch any of it. Tubo.
I didn't not watch any of it. I literally was like, okay, I'm not doing anything else. I'll tune in now. And it was showing like the wrap up video. So I got like the reverse trailer. I got the wrap up of everything that happened. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I tuned in at the right time. Later.
Yeah. It was so long, dude. I felt as I was watching through it that it was. Maybe it was 3 hours. It took forever, I felt. I don't know if that's actually true, but that was my feeling of it.
Shows are usually 3 or 4 hours, so that makes sense.
It took forever.
I started watching it and I was just like, it's so funny because it's like, here's crazy game announcement. Here's game announcement. Look, here's these cool things. By the way, earlier in the day, this one, this one, this, and this one, this. Yes. Here's crazy game announcement. I was like, this is, the Game Awards.
Yeah, they did that same thing last year. And I think that's kind of why I didn't tune in this year. It very clearly has nothing to do with the awards. They don't give a shit about the awards.
Okay, but stay with me. That's why I watched, because I can count on them to not care about the Game Awards portion of the Game Awards.
Yep.
And that's the part that I think is the stupidest. Like, I've often talked about how I think awards shows are just stupid vanity.
Yeah.
Not worth watching. I don't care who wins an award.
What's that thing right in front of you, James? That award, I think, right?
It's an important award. It's the no.
Oh. How dare you throw my positions back in my face that way?
I will do that forever.
So again, because
I was nominated by something that was akin to the Game Awards that I don't remember the exact title of now, but I was nominated.
You really like me.
I went to the show. I went to the filming of it last year, and the whole time I was there, I was like in my head, so stupid. I wish I had somebody there with me that I could just have ripped on it with the whole time, but you know, it wasn't that kind of shenanigan, unfortunately. Yeah. Anyway, I think they suck. And this Game Awards wasn't about the Game Awards, which is perfect. That's like the perfect marriage of the Game Awards and non-Game Awards is to not be the Game Awards. So as far as the info from the Game Awards portion of it, let's get through this. This is big time, important. Fighting game of the year. Mortal Kombat 11.
Wasn't it Ultimate Mortal Kombat 11?
No. It's Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate Edition.
Sorry. Yeah, okay. Which has been out for what, like
a month?
A month?
Yeah. If that, yeah, like a month, I guess, at this point. Congratulations to Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate for winning. They definitely didn't just Google like which fighting games have come out this year. I don't know.
I feel like they probably exactly what happened. Yeah.
At least it was probably the one that deserved it the most, right? I mean,
they also put Street Fighter V in there. Like that game came out in 2016.
Champion Edition.
Yes, Champion
such
Edition.
A stupid thing, man. That's so dumb.
It's a different one, completely different game.
Somehow One Punch Man lost. Esports Game of the Year was 2020 release League of Legends.
Man, these award shows sure are great. They really highlight game development happening recently all the time.
How old is this game now? 10 or 11 years old. It's quite old from a video game perspective at this point. It's still extremely popular. Like the reason they gave it is that it doesn't need to be a 2020 release for this category.
Right, yeah. It's just which
game was the biggest esports game this year. Yeah, League is.
They didn't list any fighting games, by the way. Not a one.
For esports?
Yeah, for the esports category. No fighting.
Correct.
Do you feel like a fighting game deserves it? Which fighting game would you have put in there?
Well, the best tournament to happen offline this year was Samurai Showdown Top 8 at Frosty Faustine.
That's true.
So
commentary was on point.
I feel like it would have to have been
commentary for that game was on point, dude. Seriously.
That's true.
For
was
the top 8.
The best multiplayer game of the year. Among Us.
It's definitely the most popular as of like 3 weeks ago. I don't think it was even that. I feel like it's starting to die down already. But sure, it was definitely the most popular for like a month.
It also didn't come out this year.
Right.
Yeah, no, it came out 2 years ago.
That's what I was about to say.
So,
I mean,
it's not a recent release.
Cheers
it's
Among
popular,
Us.
Dude. Like, it definitely is. But it is also one of those games that I would be surprised if it was as popular in 6 months. People will still play it. Like, there's definitely going to be like a dedicated Among Us scene, but there's also like a kind of faddish nature to it that I don't know if that's going to survive. But they're doing a bunch of
new. Dude, I mean, look. Yes. I was just happy because it allowed us to see the speeches from the devs of Among Us, because they were genuinely moved and like they were adorable. So I'll give it to that. So yeah, Fall Guys is kind of done, but I feel like
Season 3 just came out or comes out soon or something.
Yeah,
man. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't like Fall Guys in general, so like, it's really easy for me.
I enjoy Among Us so much more than I enjoyed Fall Guys because Among Us is
that too. I don't even like Among Us very much, but Fall Guys for me was maybe the worst video game I've played. And boy, whenever Sam's show came out,
I knew that was coming.
I couldn't resist it. No, but that is not true. I don't actually feel that way. But I really do feel the way of thinking that Fall Guys is ass.
So,
oh my god!
In an announcement, I just wanted to say that David has been kicked off of the Tuesday show.
He has left the building.
Now this show we're gonna get EbonicPlague on here. It's gonna be a Generation Spacing reunion, and we're just gonna talk about Samurai Showdown and how great it is all day. So that's basically what's happened. So
hey guys.
I really do think Fall Guys is ass. Very bad video game.
Yeah, I don't think it's very good.
It's cool. I'm glad everybody had a good time with it. But They did nominate that for multiplayer game of the year. It did not win.
Hey, KP loves it, right? So
KP, Wheels, Nikki, they all play it all the time still.
Yeah.
It's just not for me, man. It just isn't.
Correct. Yeah. So my wife and I have taken to watching like some speedrunners and Mario Maker players or content creators, I guess.
Yeah.
Like Carl Sagan and Mitch Flowerpower and stuff. And one day, maybe I've told the story here before, but one day we saw what Mitch Flowerpower had been playing, and it was Fall Guys.
Oh, yeah,
and my wife, who doesn't know anything about video games at all, watched it for 2 minutes and proclaimed it the stupidest game that she's ever seen.
Did you say like, she said like, how can you tell which door is real and which one's fake? And you're like, you can't. And she's like, isn't that bad for competition?
Yeah, sure is. Anyway, enough ripping on that game. As far as stuff that they announced a bunch of stuff. I don't know if anything stuck out to you guys, but just a brief list of some of the things, not everything. Mass Effect stuff, It Takes Two, Evil West, Arc 2 with Vin Diesel.
Cool.
With Vin Diesel.
I am Groot.
Why is he part of that?
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, great.
There's like a whole cast of famous people in that now, apparently.
Sick.
Endless Dungeon, which I think is kind of cool. I played Endless Legend a lot, and then I stopped because I had to completely quit the Civ style of game to have a life. I haven't played that in a while, but it's a universe that I think is cool, Endless Space. Warhammer 40k, Darktide, the Callisto Protocol, kind of horror-looking game. Perfect Dark.
I never played the original.
I played the original. I thought it was super overrated. I really did. I was like, this is upgraded GoldenEye, but even as a kid, I was like over GoldenEye after like a year.
I mean, it's a first-person shooter, right? So
yeah, but it was a garbage first-person shooter. I played games on PC at that time. I had like a podunk, scraped together, not stole parts, but like got parts from my richer friends that didn't want them anymore. Put together
did you hear that?
The most garbage PC, and I played PC games.
He almost just accidentally admitted to thievery, and he was like, "Shoot, I can't say that public."
Parts from Best Buy. Yeah, no, I couldn't. I'd be way too afraid. I was a big wiener.
Obviously, I can't play first-person games, so I'm not going to.
Okay, fine. Well, I played a lot of Perfect Dark in college. That's right. I was in college.
Oof,
Perfect Dark.
Very old.
Yes.
So I was graduated.
It was actually old when I was playing in college, to be fair. Like, it wasn't.
Yeah, I was going to say. It had to have been.
But we did play it a lot. We killed each other with the Far Side a lot, and it was hilarious. And was it like a good competitive game? Maybe not super great, but it was definitely fun. We played it a lot.
All right.
Definitely. Yeah, it was up there. That's exactly what it was, competitive.
I'm actually excited for one game that did get announced at the Game Awards.
Okay.
Back for Blood.
Yeah.
That game
looks that was a Left 4 Dead sequel, basically, right?
Basically, yeah. It's a newer, updated Left 4 Dead made by the guys who made Left 4 Dead 1.
Right.
Valve gave them the boot for Left 4 Dead 2. We got it from here, boys.
Right.
But, these guys made their own. They made their own dev. Warner Brothers bought them out, I believe, is how it worked out. And so now they have like a fully fledged game that's coming out soon. I think the closed alpha is like this weekend or next weekend or something. So
I didn't know that history. That's really cool.
It looks really fantastic, especially for the state that they say the game is in, which is super early. It looks super good. It looks really, really good.
What's the difference between that and previous Left 4 Dead games? This one has taller zombies.
Yeah, something like that. Like, whatever. No, they actually have like leveling up systems and things like that, and like weapon alternates and blah blah blah. But yeah, pretty much. There's different zombies.
I mean,
whatever.
It's crazy because
cool, I just thought that was a funny answer.
Even long zombies. But like
they got the long spitter.
The whole thing, though, I mean, like, what's crazy is, like, even though I don't really care about the Game Awards, I still remember the previous years there would be announcements that I'm just like, whoa, and like kind of excited about, and like literally nothing this year stood out to me at all. I mean, the Smash one obviously should have been the big one for me, but like I said, I'm not a Sephiroth person. By the way, people were saying that, you know, for not liking, you know, GoldenEye and stuff, that I should kick Tubo off. For me, being a hipster on Sephiroth, I think I should kick myself off the stream, right? So there we go. Whoa, that is...
You ruined the entire stream,
Oh
James.
my god.
There
You
you
went
go.
to another dimension. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not that I don't like Perfect Dark. It's just I was playing better games. Like,
Yeah.
people
Yeah,
are mad that I wasn't playing first-person shooters on my N64 that clearly wasn't designed for that. Sorry.
All right,
My
what game
bad.
were you playing? Big
I
cool
was playing Jedi Outcast. I was playing Counter-Strike, the original. I was playing Guns, the Duel.
guy. Okay, yeah.
Basically,
Okay.
whatever game my PC could run, I would play it, but mostly shooters. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Sorry about that, Isaiah. I had the Huang background over there. It was supposed to be Sephiroth. So
I played a lot of Counter-Strike back in college as well. That's for sure. I played some Tribes. I was in there, but I also played some Halo. Halo 1, which I think did
Halo
come
was
out.
fun. Halo was super fun. Halo
Yeah.
felt like it belonged where it was.
Dude, I remember actually when my friend brought home an Xbox and we were like, wow, look at this giant beast. This huge inflatable size controllers.
dude, that
And
controller.
I think that was like in my 3rd year of college or something. It was maybe my 4th year.
Dude, that
I
controller
wasn't even
was
in high school yet.
ridiculous, dude. That controller was so terrible.
I actually love that
People
controller.
liked it. Yeah.
I still love that controller.
I cannot reach the Xbox button without letting go. Like, it's literally like this.
well, there is no Xbox button.
Or whatever
That
it was in
didn't
the
come to
middle, the
360.
starts and the selects and whatever it was
okay.
in the middle. I could not reach them without actually letting go and having to do this. But if I was holding the controller, I just couldn't reach them, dude.
Joker, yeah, Madden was big, and I was the best in my school. I was winning tournaments, baby, but that was
Nice.
mostly in high school.
Sick.
Nice.
Yeah, I was real good at Madden back then. I suck now. I have Madden 21. Man, that game sucks. That game is a pile of garbage, but I got it on sale for like $20 for Black Friday or
You
whatever.
know,
and,
I just realized I
I'll
never
play
put
it again.
I never put the alerts back on when I made this whole new scene. I forgot to put the alerts, like the subscription alerts, so they actually don't show up on here. I'm gonna have to fix that real soon. So
By the way, thanks to Zenitsu for the subscription for the last 4 months. Anything else to say about our favorite, the Game Award?
No. I hope it doesn't come back next year.
it will.
I hope it comes back next year. I want the Game Awards where they don't have any awards at all, or where Jeff is just like,
Just
all right, everybody.
The game trailers.
Game of the year is X.
Look-
and best multiplayer of the year is Y. And like, what? I just run through it.
Yeah, I actually
And
do.
then-
Here's the trailers.
Trailer.
I actually do disagree. Like, I do like award shows. I don't think that they're as, like vanity as much as a lot of other people do. I think that there's a lot of legitimacy to them, especially because my brother is a giant movie cinema guy. And so I hear a lot about what happens behind the scenes in terms of Oscars and stuff like that. Look, I just wish the Game Awards would just start, like, you can tell the awards are not important and it's very hodgepodgey. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like the categories are taken as seriously. Like, they need to do art direction. They need to do, like, all these, like, different, like, important kind of categories and stuff. And that's what's missing, in my opinion. When you just have best multiplayer game, best esports game, blah, blah, blah.
They
But
do have those categories,
That was
James.
a lot more. Yeah. I didn't
The
mention-
problem is they just gloss over them.
Right,
They put them at the
exactly.
bottom of the screen and there's like, whatever, okay, bye.
Yeah.
And also, games like fucking Cyberpunk are the ones that get nominated. Like, are you kidding me?
Right.
That game had good direction?
Mhm,
Like, come
mhm.
on, like, it just, I think that's where David is coming off saying, like, it just doesn't feel
Yeah, no, that's
real
what I mean.
Because, like, they're not real nominations. It's like, whatever big names, like, we'll
Yep.
put them up there, cool, bye.
Can you believe that Rocket Arena did not get nominated for best multiplayer game?
It
like,
should have.
Actually ridiculous. Of course it should have. That game is
it's so
amazing.
good.
Yeah.
But nobody knows
That's the
about
thing
it.
is, like, the biggest problem with the Game Awards right now is the legitimacy of it is not there because you can tell it's a popularity contest more than anything else. And that's
Absolutely,
the problem.
for sure.
So.
To get eyeballs on advertising and trailers.
Yep.
That's all. It's
Okay.
a vehicle for eyeballs. All right, we move on. Cool. Let's talk a little bit about Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, which we're really not going to do that much of because, as you can see, right below this is an interview with EbonicPlague on Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. So we're going to keep this to a minimum, but let's just briefly say that Yuel got announced and released. And what do you think? Did you see her? What did she do?
I saw the trailer. She looks like a rushdown character. I didn't see anything special. Maybe I missed something because, you know, it's hard to tell from a trailer if there's anything that is cheap or whatever, but she looked like a real standard ass character to me. Hopefully Isaiah can tell me differently and there's something really cool about her, but she looked real boring to me.
Dude, I just, it's the same thing with this game and Strive. It's just like every time I watch one of these trailers, I'm just like, oh, like, I mean, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus should have been nominated for art direction. You know, that's kind of the thing, right? Yeah. Like that game should be highlighted for its artistic, you know, merits and stuff. And it makes me mad that, you know, it's not popular, so no one's going to pay attention to it kind of things like that. Right. And that's like, it's, oh God, it's just so beautiful every time I see it. Again, I don't know anything about the character. We'll talk to Isaiah about that, EbonicPlague about that a lot more coming up. But, you know, obviously the game is just beautiful. And, you know, I saw the little intro sequence between her and, God, who the heck is the name of the character that I used to play? the trio guys, the three guys with the thing.
The three amigos. Yeah,
the three amigos. But the intro was hilarious. Loane, there you go. Loane and they. What's that?
Oh, I didn't hear you say.
I didn't hear it. Okay.
The three amigos.
Yeah, Loane. Like I saw the intro between them, and they're like breaking the third wall and breaking the fourth wall, and they talking about. It was hilarious. So they do a good job with it and everything like that. I don't know anything about the character, but like I said, we'll talk to EbonicPlague about that. So.
Also, at first, the next DLC character got leaked, but then also announced. Uno is coming out as well, and I watched a whole video that Giuna did about how much he hates that this character is coming to DLC, and how it's just like, this is like the worst DLC character that they could have picked, and it wasn't a character anybody wanted. They wanted, like, everybody wanted other characters. Nobody was even thinking about this dude at all. He was not like on the top of any popularity contests or any polls or anything like that. It was out of left field completely, according to him.
Good. I think that's funny. I think it's funny when that shit happens. I'm not gonna lie, man. Like when like a DLC character, it's like Steve. Nobody asked for Steve, but there you were.
Piranha
Plant. That shit's funny to me, man. I like seeing fanboys get mad.
Piranha
Plant.
On
the other hand, like Minecraft is the best-selling video game of all time. So
sure, and Steve ended up being super dope. So.
Yeah, and like I said, I think the character that embodies that the most, honestly, is Piranha Plant. Like, everybody was mad about Piranha Plant.
Piranha Plant, yeah.
That was good. That
is hilarious. Yeah. There's also balance changes, new story chapters, etc. Still 2 more characters left in Character Pass number 2. We'll find out more about that, I guess, in the future. And Uno is coming out in January 2021. That's it that I have in terms of just the informational, here's what happened. Do you want to get to this guy?
Well, I'm just wondering, is he going to be able to play a reverse card on you or anything like that? You know, just isn't that what it's called? The Uno reverse card, I think it is.
Stop it. Nope. Bring on Isaiah.
All right, so we're gonna get a lot more information about this patch and everything. And actually, one of the main reasons why we brought him on, because I just wanted to, hear more about the current state of Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. But let's take a quick break real quick just to make sure everything is all set up and ready to go for the interview. So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have Mr. EbonicPlague in the chat, in the stream to talk all about GBVS. All right, be right back. I'm going to just sit here and wait and see how long Tubo can hold this pose for. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm going to let him go now, so...
They say he's still doing it to this very day.
I'm not. I quit already.
Okay, let's see. Now I'm going to play some background music for people as well, which you guys can't hear. So. Oh, boy. Yeah, my whole setup here is so different than back in the old generation spacing days, dude. Like, I'm doing everything different with audio and everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, people where our voices aren't completely out of sync, and
I have a new computer.
the stream doesn't die if we bring someone on.
Yep. It's pretty amazing.
Well, that's no fun. If there's no problems, what's even the point?
Actually, I like the way you think there. All right, so we should be good here. All right, sweet. Ugh, man. Oh, thanks for coming on to the show so last second, by the way. So.
Hey, this surprisingly isn't the first time I've been asked to jump on something last second. So, in the past like 2 months.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Ugh, man.
Listen, it's James's fault. He's like, hey, I have this doctor chiropractor friend. You should invite her on. I was like, okay, sure, invite her on. And then she bailed.
She
I
had
had
something
no
else.
one cancel on me the entire time I've been getting interviews for like 3 months now.
She
And then
had
the first
something
one
else.
James suggested failed.
It's because if you had asked on the other weeks, you wouldn't have had a conflict, you see. There you go.
Liz, man,
Alright, let's do it.
that's not my fault.
Yeah, no, I would have really liked
Hold on, I need to get water.
I would have really liked to talk about a lot of that stuff just because I know a lot of gamers are having problems with their hands, and I have killed my hands recently in a long Marvel 3 set. I destroyed my hands like carpal tunnel wise. And so
Yeah,
it's just-
I destroyed my hands a long time ago.
I think
It's actually why I got into. That's why I got into commentary, is because I couldn't play for a couple of months.
Oh dang! Okay.
You guys have hands?
I have really bad tendons in my hands, actually.
James, you should,
So I can only play for so long, and
Dang.
then sometimes like I can only I just like have to stop outright for a couple of days.
Jeez. Okay. Well,
should be happy to know that she's our guest for next week. So.
okay. Well, are you guys ready to go? Are you guys ready to go?
One second.
Okay.
Man, I would have pulled out the green screen to be like you guys if you had answered my message, James. But no.
Oh, sorry.
All right, I'm ready.
It's all good. It's all good. All right, you ready? Let's do this.
Yes, sir.
All right, welcome back everybody to the Tuesday show. Before we went on break, we were talking about the new character, new patch for Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, and you know, I've always felt like it's the one game this year that has kind of gotten screwed the most by the lockdown and COVID and everything like that. So much to the point that I've kind of lost track of the scene in the community and what they're going through and stuff. So we're actually going to bring on Mr. EbonicPlague, who's been keeping up with the Grand Blue scene, talking about all that. So let's just bring him on here so we can talk about the new patch, talk about the current state of the community, etc., etc. Welcome, Mr. EbonicPlague, aka Isaiah. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing pretty well, especially, you know, when I get to talk about some Grand Blue versus, hashtag shill, hashtag ad, something like that.
Well, welcome back to Generation Spacing, everyone. As you see, Ultra David is our guest on the show.
I'm the best today.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, Generation Spacing kind of disappeared because obviously Tubo, well, I mean, you were working for a while, so you couldn't be up as late.
Yeah.
But Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, new character, new patch. I mean, I guess give us a little background information. Like, how was the balance of the game before this patch, and how do you feel like the patch actually changed the game? Does it feel significant at all?
Well, the patch was meant to be like a minor patch, right? It wasn't meant to be anything super big. It was meant to address a couple of issues. They also added a couple of other things that I guess people, like myself, honestly weren't expecting. Like they tweaked specifically like Narmaya and Gran in areas that I was surprised about, because it was like nobody was really asking for those tweaks, but you know, they're cool. Like, it's fine. Yeah, cool. We'll take it. But anyway, the balance of the game itself was pretty good for a little while. In fact, it was super nice. I felt like it was one of the best launch games for Arxis in a long time. It was really, really good. Everybody had the ability to win. Even the characters that everybody was like, yeah, this character's clearly the worst, was like doing incredibly well. Like Loen was like the worst when he first came out, right? Or when the game first launched. Right. And he was still doing very well. So, you know, obviously some of that was gimmicks at the very beginning. Don't get me wrong. But he was still good. He's gotten better over time.
Didn't he just like?
Oh, go ahead.
Didn't he get like top 8 at something recently or something like a big?
He got top 8 at Arc Revo.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But he's also gotten top 8 at many other events. Booskar Luz is the specific East Coast low aim that you're looking at for getting top 8 at Arc Revo. He's also at pretty much every NLBC getting top 8, so you know you can check that out whenever. I think those are on Saturdays. But yeah, so when Belial was introduced, this character was running amok legitimately. He was a season 1 character in season 2. Because what they did was they nerfed certain aspects going from season 1 to season 2 that I guess maybe they didn't feel like the game direction wanted to be that way or whatever. I don't know. They had their reasons, right? But when Belial came in, he had all those things still. So it was a bit wonky. Most characters didn't have the ability to contest with that, right? On the other side of a character maybe being as strong as Belial, there was Lancelot. He was pretty much the only one who has, you know, who could say he was as strong. But regardless of that fact, characters still had the ability to win. Belial was just the clear best, right? And then there was one more patch after where they just, for some reason, gutted Ladiva. They gutted her like a fish. They made this character just butt cheeks. Like, I mean, like she... You know, she can do stuff or whatever, but like I just don't understand why they got that character, because I felt like she was probably the most perfectly designed character in the roster, because she wasn't too strong, but she wasn't and she wasn't bad at all, right? Like she was really good. She was just good enough, and she had a contingency for any rock paper scissors game plan that might come up. She had setups that were specific to, you know, X or Y. Like she just had it all except for a projectile, which you probably don't want to give her crap for like that anyway, because she was already terrifying. But yeah, like she was probably the most perfectly designed grappler or, you know, character, like, period, in that game. And then they were just like, you know, never mind.
all those grappler haters got to Arxis, man. Come on.
My poor footsies characters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She's. You know, we're not gonna get into this.
so when they came up with this most recent patch that introduced Yuel, they did not buff her at all. In fact, they didn't change her in any way, shape, or form. She got no bug fixes, no buffs, no nerfs, no nothing. Right. The same thing happened with like Lowain. But again, this was meant to be kind of a minor patch.
Right.
This wasn't meant to be like something huge. It was more like okay, we're introducing Yuel, and we want to address some of these things that we feel to be important. One of the important things that they did address, and I think the entire community is probably pretty happy for, is they addressed Belial.
Okay.
Yeah. So they did change Belial. He didn't receive like crazy nerfs, which I am super happy about.
Yeah.
They essentially made it so that he wasn't just far and away the best.
Gotcha.
Out of all the characters, basically.
Cool.
So, like, to give you an idea of what Belial is like, since I'm not 100% sure if you guys are know what he's like in the game. Belial is essentially the best Shoto, right? That like the game has. He is like season 1 Street Fighter V Ryu with a command grab. All right. He has a command grab.
So Snake Eyes should be playing this character
midway, and become an Oki fireball that just stays on top of you, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So just imagine like Street Fighter V Ryu with that and without parry. He doesn't have a parry. So
okay, yeah.
But so yeah. So that's kind
but he
of
has a counter though, right?
He has a counter. Yes, it's his unique action. It's not amazing. It's actually probably one of the weakest tools in his kit, and it's still pretty good. But yeah. So Belial is essentially that. So he was the strongest Shoto, and that's why you saw a lot less Grand players, is because Grand players were like, okay, we're just playing Belial now. He's just better Grand. He's Grand on crack. He's Grand 2.0. We're going in. So what they changed about Belial is one of the things that I think everybody probably asked about was his 5H. His 5H is standing heavy. It is a 2-hitting special cancelable normal that moves him forward. It is 1 frame faster than every H in the game. at 9 frames, so it's already pretty good. And the game has an attack priority system in it, right? So heavy attacks will beat mediums and lights if they're on the same frame, right? So this thing moved him forward very, very far. Just to start, right?
Okay.
It could be canceled on reaction, the first hit, and then there is a second hit that you could just cancel by pressing H again, right? That moved him further after that, the second hit of H. So it's already pretty good for that, right? And if these moves hit on counter hit, either one, he could combo off it with just about anything except for like an ascending button past medium, right? So like he could do 5H. Oh, it counter hit. I'm gonna hit 2L, the crouch jab, and I'm going to convert off it. And that's all on reaction, right? Like, and it's completely safe. Because before the patch, it was, I think I want to say it was like -3. It was just a super good button all around, right? Now it's -5. Which still can't be punished by most things in the game, but it at least doesn't allow him to just decide, I'm just gonna hit buttons, right? Like I'm just gonna do whatever I want. Another thing that was a big deal for his change, I think I have to bring this up because there was another thing about him that got changed very recently. I'm sorry that I'm doing this right now.
Oh yeah, no worries. But basically, I mean, one of the things that's interesting about that, though, is, going from -3 to -5, still not super punishable, and yet that's enough to make a move less powerful, right? I mean, it's one of those things that a lot of people are like, this move is too good, it should be -19 on block, kind of thing, but it really does,
minor stuff's better.
Yeah. And just how much even small things like that actually affect gameplay to a significant degree, People always want to do the whole gigantic, like, this character should have, like, combos off of his lights that do, like, and it's like, no, come on, dude, like, no, we just need to tweak small things.
Yeah, so, I got the changes. The other thing that is very important, I just saw like immediately, it is also that he when his 5H hits, he can no longer just combo off of it for free on counter hit. I believe it has to be counter hit and crouching specifically for him to cancel into the stuff that he used to before.
Right.
I could be wrong about that. He might not be able to combo off of it at all. And this is specifically the just like doing 5H into like throw a fireball, or 5H into 2L like he used to do before, right? Because he used to do a link of 5H into 2L, and that would just combo. He can't do that anymore. Or the infamous just being able to do 5H and then just toss a fireball, and if it connected, you comboed off it because he could hit you with the fireball and then turn it into the Oki version of the fireball, and you're either safe or he hit you. It's autopilot, and you just got whatever you wanted off of it, right?
So it's not even a hit confirmed. It's just an autopilot sequence. No. Yeah. Okay.
You don't need to hit confirm it. You would just, this is what I'm going to do on block. If it hits you, I win. If you block it, I get a mix up. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Because it does have the command.
That's gone now.
Remember that,
right?
Yes. So and because 5H is more negative on block, you can start doing the rock paper scissors thing a little bit better. So if he wants to throw a fireball there, you can with less worry try to mash out before the fireball is able to come out, right? Because like previously the fireball might actually trade in his favor if you were able to mash out, like maybe just a little bit too late kind of deal,
right?
But yeah, let's see. He also got easy input damage reductions, but that's kind of like what everybody else got. For those of you who haven't played Grand Blue Versus, you can do both the easy input of a move and a technical input, which you're probably used to being like a quarter circle forward plus light punch or something like that, right? He got that, right? This was a very minor patch change, so
is that something?
It's not really.
Is that something that's actually universal, that the easier inputs now do less damage?
Yes, yeah. Easier inputs for just about everything in the game do less damage than the regular. And there are some instances where you don't get full animation for attacks if you do the easy input.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the game legitimately rewards you for trying to do technical inputs if you can.
Because before
there are certain situations where I'm just going to tell you to do the easy input. If it's going to kill, it's going to kill.
Because when the game came out, it was just the cooldown was the only difference, right?
No, there was also what I just mentioned. The full animation would not happen as far away as the technical input for certain moves, like certain supers and stuff like that.
Right, for supers, yeah.
But mostly it was just cooldown at the very beginning. Mostly. There were some differences, but and so they were like, well, we don't. I just assume this. I'm not on the design team or anything, so I don't know why they would do it. But I guess they didn't want that to be the case.
Okay.
So they changed it. The other thing was his DP got more recovery. His DP was both his light and medium DPs got more recovery. The H1 got more than just that change, but his DP was easily one of the best moves in the game because. So the light version is just a standard old Shoryuken, right? There's really not a huge thing on it, but it also didn't have a ton of recovery with just enough block stun, so it could be hard to punish at certain ranges, right?
It sounds like a early Genjuro from Samurai Showdown, the fighting game of 2020, right? So yeah.
I heard the commentary at Frosty was pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. His MDP was a fake out move. He does the same animation as his normal DP. However, he is not invincible on the way up, and there is no hitbox on the way up. There is a hitbox on the way down, however, and it is plus on block.
Oh, it's interesting. Okay.
So, as you might imagine, people would be like, all right, I'm going to bait the DP, right? And then he does the fake DP, and now he's mixing you up on his wake up.
That's hilarious.
So, that also got a little bit more recovery.
Okay.
So he's not as plus on that. The H1, it has slower startup. It has, I think it's it's less block stun and hit stun on a grounded opponent.
Okay.
But the air hit stun is unchanged, right?
Okay.
To make sure that he's not punishable on hit.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
So basically, what would happen is if Belial EXDP'd you, he would get to run it was like a 5-way mix-up. there was that much frame advantage.
Okay.
So you actually had to respect his DP way too much.
Gotcha. He got rewarded
because he had the medium one. It was
right. Yeah, that's funny.
He got rewarded too much for landing a DP, basically. So.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they basically took away that amount of reward. The thing is the second the patch dropped, one of the stronger Japanese players immediately tested it. They wanted to see, and they're like, "Oh, you can still do a cross up off of this, but this is it's only left and right that they have to guess."
Okay.
And you can kind of watch if Belial runs forward, or you could just hold the guard button, right?
Okay.
Before it was. You got command grab, you got left, you got right, you got high, you got low, you got it was whatever basically. So now you might not get that. So and then he got some other change that we're not yet sure how it's going to affect him. Because it seems like a very minor change, and it may just be like a quality of life thing.
Okay.
It's basically the auto combo now moves forward at a later point in the animation. Everybody has like an auto combo that they do that moves them forward, and that it just moves them forward later in the animation. We don't really know what that really plays out into, right? It may not be a big deal at all. It may just be for consistency,
right?
For all we know.
All right.
But yeah, so Belial he didn't get his knees capped. And I like that decision because I feel like
you don't want to have another
anyway. We already know that, right?
You don't want Ladiva's situation again, right? Where all of a sudden the character just becomes useless.
Ladiva got what she deserved. Okay.
She definitely did not, and I will not have the slander over such a queen. She is a queen, all right?
Oh man,
Charlotta player out here talking about
Charlotta got wrecked, man. I didn't like what they did to her.
I don't know about wrecked, but I could totally understand if her changes made you not like the way she plays anymore. I could totally understand that.
Yes. I used to be really aggressive, and I don't think you can be nearly as aggressive.
I just say watch some Tempest. He still plays the character.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think she's bad. It's just I what I found fun about her doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
That's fair. I think that's fair. I think that's totally fair.
So what? How is so Yuel obviously just came out, so we don't really know anything about this character yet. And like we were saying in the trailer, she seemed very straightforward. What's the early impressions on her so far?
So there was actually a couple of things in the trailer that I feel like you guys missed.
Okay.
Because that definitely showed that she wasn't exactly straightforward.
Predicted that, yeah.
Yeah, no surprises here.
She has her unique action is a stance. It's called the third dance, right? Mm-hmm. What happens is she puts one leg up, she starts like bouncing around all jubilant and whatnot, and it auto parries strikes that can be blocked either high or low. Specifically those attacks.
Not
like
mid.
So cannot auto parry overheads. It cannot auto parry your overhead.
Okay, gotcha.
It can so it has to be a move that you can block either standing or low. Yeah,
so
auto
mid,
block mids basically.
Gotcha.
The thing is, the reason why I didn't say mid is because the game classifies mids as a different thing.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Just like NRS games, NRS games or 3D games.
It's more the Tekken style.
I didn't want to confuse anybody.
Street Fighter mid.
Yeah. So it is. It does not parry low attacks either. If you sweep her or do a low whatever your button is, that is low, it will defeat it. Right.
Okay.
The thing about this is in the stance, she also has follow-ups. She can also go into stance after doing any of her special moves by just pressing the button after inputting the special move. Right.
This sounds very Soul Calibur-ish.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're totally right on that. Actually, that's a very good assumption. If you want to, I guess if there's another character you might want to think about it with this stance, think of Angie Moto, right? Think of Angie's stance. It's not armor like Angie's is, but it is a similar thing, function, if you will.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So she has different follow-ups. One is an anti-air, one is like just an advancing forward strike, etc., etc. These follow-ups are fairly straightforward. It's the canceling into stance and setting up a situation where your opponent can't deal with you because you have auto parry on you the whole time while you're standing there, right? So that's what a lot of people have been messing with so far. Is they have been putting people in situations where they can cancel into the stance, and if the opponent has a move that's doesn't have a move that's X number of frames, they will get auto parried if they try to do something about it.
So it's almost like you can be minus on block on a move, but since you cancel it now, if they try to steal their turn, if they try to take their turn, they're gonna get countered basically.
So there is another thing that brings into that you're gonna help me segue into perfectly. So you know how I mentioned earlier special moves that she can cancel into stance, right? By just pressing the button after doing it. She has a move where she backdashes. It's a special attack, or a special move, excuse me. I think it might only be low invincible, but it might be fully invincible. I'm not sure. It's still too early for me. Where she backflips, and then you can either let the move rock, and what she does is she charges forward and does an attack, or you cancel it before she does the attack into stance.
Right.
So you can do block string that's negative, right? And then you can do the backflip into stance, and you're just like, well, you pressed a button, but now I whiff punished you because I went into stance.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's cool. Yeah.
And then she also has something that's it sounds kind of minor to most people, but it's actually a big deal in Grand Blue. She has a 2-hit jump H, which only Lancelot, I think, is the only other character that has that. Which means if you've ever been knocked down by Lancelot, she'll do the same thing to you. She can mix you up with double overhead. She can mix you up with empty jump low, etc.
Both hits are high then, basically. Both hits are high. Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Didn't they change one of the hits to not be overhead for Lowain? For Lowain.
It's for Lowain's jump. So Lowain's jump unique. He's like flailing in the air with his legs like 600 times. Right? Every leg flail is a hit, right? Not every hit is overhead anymore.
Right.
It used to be the case. So that was a big deal for a lot of people, but it's still present in both Lancelot and Yuel.
Okay.
The other thing Yuel has that not everybody in this game has, which is kind of a big deal, is her strength off of an anti-air. She gets big damage off of anti-airs in this game, which is not exactly uncommon, but it's not every character has that.
Right.
So she also has other 2-hitting single button normals. Like I think it's her far it's her close H, not her far H. Her far H is the one where she stabs forward, kind of like Lancelot actually, with only one of the swords I think. But yeah. So she has that. So a lot of the time you can see people just pressing the button. And you can hit confirm it because it's two hits, right? Like you can react a little bit better.
Okay.
So the way I think first impressions are showing up for not just myself, but I think the rest of the community, honestly, is I think this character is really good, like really good. I don't think this charter is bad in the slightest.
Like what?
I don't know if
is
she's
it like
she's like Belial? Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
I wouldn't say she's like Belial, but she is a very solid character already, and we don't even know everything about her.
Right.
I feel like.
Okay.
Cool. So it could get better. I don't know. Like
now. Okay. I mean, obviously, one of the things that I wanted to talk about as well is just the community right now. Obviously, like I said before we went on the break, I feel like Granblue Fantasy Versus kind of got the shaft the most in the FGC because they've never really had a chance to build up a huge scene. I even said on the show like months back that, like right now, do we even have a person who's like considered the strongest right now? How is the community?
I would say so.
Handling everything. I mean, right now the strongest is what? Diaphony probably in the US?
Diaphone and 2D McGee are the strongest of their respective coasts without question.
Okay.
Because they've been winning just about every tournament that they enter, and some of them with tertiary characters.
Right.
Diaphone has been playing in NLBC with a different character every single month, every single week. Excuse me. Yeah. He doesn't jump off the character until he wins with that character, right? Which has been happening a little bit faster than some of the people have expected. So for example, Sorez was a character that on release, everybody considered to be maybe the worst, right? Just straight up bad. Some Sorez players didn't think that, other Sorez players did. Whatever you might think, he was considered to be not very good.
Right.
Diaphone immediately won NLBC with Sorez after I think it was 3 weeks. He was like, just give me a couple weeks with this character. I think it'll be fine. Right. Okay. Beelzebub. He's won NLBC with that character. I think it was after he had been playing the character for maybe a week. He had won NLBC with that character. Gotcha. This was post Beelzebub buffs, if I remember correctly, as well. So there's that. But there is just Diaphone is very clearly the strongest of that area, right? As far as I'm concerned. And until somebody more consistently does as well as he does, I can't say for sure. Because there's always like people who maybe just aren't entering the tournaments but are maybe beating up Diaphone or whatever. David has transcended.
Yeah, he is the Matrix.
Oops. I wasn't gonna say anything because I thought it was pretty cool. But there you go.
Yeah, I was letting it rock.
Yeah,
but
dude, there is something crazy. Yo,
oh no, David, rip. Well, like I said, this is
David a god?
Generation Station.
Are you a god?
Has David become God Liu Kang? Like he's now Lord of Fire and Thunder.
Yeah. I iconic myself out of existence.
Oh man.
But yeah, so I would say there are strongest players. I obviously cannot tell you whether I think 2D McGee is better than Diaphone or who may be the strongest in the Midwest, which there are a couple of contenders. Midwest I feel like has a more of a toss up on who is the strongest in that area for Granblue right now than East and West Coast. East and West Coast, it's very clear and cut,
right?
As far as I'm concerned. But
now,
so go ahead.
No, I was about to say I saw a High Fight mention in the chat that it's sad that we haven't seen like US versus Japan. When you guys watch, does it feel like Japan has a significantly stronger scene, or does it feel like, when you watch Japan, they're like, okay, they're on the same level as us? What is that kind of even thought process in terms of how strong the scenes are?
I might get shot for my opinion on this.
Do it! Do it!
Get shot.
I don't know how the rest of American Grand Blue feels. I'm just going to say what I think when I watch both.
You're not speaking for anybody but you.
I think personally that Japan's best players are just definitely better than ours. They have an overall better scene in general. We do see a lot of similar faces in Japanese top 8s, but I feel like there's people who have a more of a chance to defeat the big names in Japan, like because the skill level there is a lot closer. And I really do personally believe that Japan has an edge over us. I think Korea as well may actually be. I'm not gonna say Korea has an edge over us, but I've been watching a lot of Koreans. Okay. Korean players are really good. It's really surprising actually how strong they are.
Cool.
I don't know if I would say they're better than us. Maybe they're on the same level. But I just specifically wanted to shout out the Korean scene because I've been watching them and stuff like that, and they've just heavily impressed, legitimately. There's a lot of potential in American Grand Blue. I just think because of the situation we are in, where we have to play online, we are in a situation of some of our players just not getting to branch out as much as they could. I totally feel like some of our player base could contest with Japan if we had a similar situation where, East and West Coast could play in a better connection,
right?
Do that kind of thing.
With that said, how did the scene take Arxis and XE basically saying, "Stop asking us about rollback; it ain't happening"?
I mean, to be honest with you, there was very little talk about that outside of like, this is like really shitty. Like it wasn't as big of an uproar as I think most people might expect, because everybody expected it.
Nobody had any hope.
Everyone had tempered their expectations and they were ready for it. They were like, we're hoping, but it's not gonna happen.
You can't disappoint them if you never believed it in the first place.
Well, people were disappointed. Don't get me wrong. People definitely tweeted about how upset they were about this shit.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of us tweeted about how upset we were about this. Right. To be fair, it wasn't as big of an uproar as we saw with some other games and rollback. Right. When people talked about rollback for DBFZ, I felt like I saw that on Twitter every day for God knows how long, and I think I'm still seeing it.
I was gonna say, at least they were straight up with you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Bandai Namco is kind of
I think that's true.
Rollback, we're looking into it and stuff, and XE was basically just nah, it's too expensive. We're not doing it.
Finality, what the situation is, right? Even situation you don't like. Yeah.
Yeah. So people, when it came to Dragon Ball, were I felt like they were upset for longer. When it comes to Grand Blue, I haven't heard as much of an uproar. The uproar is there. It's just I felt like it died down faster because they're like, we expected.
They're like, darn, but whatever.
We'll get them with Grand Blue too.
Yeah.
Hey, I would love a Grand Blue too. Personally, I'm in love with this game as a lot. I know my timer's running out. Sorry.
We'll just keep going anyway. We have a default 30 minutes for interview, but most of the interviews have gone long, so it's all good. So,
the people that are still playing this game, obviously love the game. Right. They're willing to play through any sort of netcode issues. Right. And I'm in that boat too. I legitimately love this game. I love the direction it's going. I am a big fan of Grand Blue already, before the verses got announced, so that was already a big help. But the people that have stopped playing the game, they actually talk about how strong of a fighter that this game is.
Okay.
But they just don't want to play on the netcode.
Right.
Totally fair, and I'm not going to knock anybody for that.
Right. I mean, if we get to the point where, in 2022 or whatever, when we finally get back to locals and everything like that, I mean, do you feel like a lot of those players will come back? Do you feel like that maybe the game has been hurt a little too much by the pandemic? Or do you still see that there's all these people are just waiting, chomping at the bit,
I think the players that will quote unquote come back will absolutely come back for offline. I don't think it's a too late sort of situation. The reason being is because a lot of those players that I'm mentioning are still technically playing. They're just not entering events.
Gotcha.
Right. They're still they're in training mode, or they're in lobbies with the people that are playing in tournament to get them ready, sort of deal. Specifically, I can talk about East Coast, right? East Coast had two strong players in Base and Gears. Base played Gran until Belial came out, now then played Belial. Right, she was waiting for Belial, so it wasn't even like oh yeah, Belial's the best. Right. It just happened to be. And then Gears played Lancelot. These were two of the best players in the East Coast, without question. Right, and they have been in whatever game they seriously pick up for anime fighters. I haven't seen them play anything but anime fighters, so I can't talk about that for sure. Right. But they have still been either participating in scene related things or been playing online. They just haven't been playing in tournament or anything like that, which is kind of the real weird thing, because a lot of people look at tournament numbers and they're like, oh yeah, this game's dead kind of deal. When it's more so, it's just people don't want to get angry at the netcode when they play in tournament. They're like, yeah, I would have anti-aired and won that tournament, but I couldn't have.
Now, how is there a big Parsec scene for this? Parsec AW, cloud gaming for Granblue right now?
So I would not call it big. There are some people using Parsec. A lot of the tournaments still take place on netcode, because for all of the netcode's failings, it is still good enough, right? Okay. The other thing being, I just don't know if the people who are willing to step up to bat for Parsec events have the money to do that, right? There was also something that I was playing around with. I was planning on doing a Parsec event for Granblue that would have stuff go to charity. I'm still in the planning stages of that. I want that to happen. The reason specifically I do charity rather than like them getting prizes, because it's supposed to do two things. Obviously charity is good. Like, oh yeah, we're all aware of that. And then the other being is I want it to specifically be about the Granblue scene. Right. If I can do this, rather than it being like, oh, yo guys, check out these prize pools and stuff like that. Like, and obviously I'm not made of money. I can't get these prize pools and things like that. So if I can make that happen, that'd be sweet. I'm not going to say I'm the first person to come up with this idea. I'm sure several other people are toying around with it now behind the scenes.
I'm just saying, look,
themselves.
Dude, hit me up, dude. I've got all the servers and everything set up. I just need to install Granblue on all of them on Steam. And
so there is a specific way I wanted to go about this. I wanted to bring East and West together. So I wanted an Iowa Google Cloud server. So I was originally going to go to Tong and Soul Calibur guys on the East Coast, because they have specifically been running the best product for Google Cloud AWS Parsec events. Period. Tong and the Soul Calibur guys they've been at the tip top.
I actually have an Iowa server. I have Google Cloud as well. Do? So I have an Iowa server specifically for so whenever I run the Soul Calibur tournaments, I run the East Coast and West Coast matches on Amazon, and then I run the cross-country stuff on the Google Cloud. So I'm totally down to do a lot of this stuff. So I'm
here's the thing. Some games play better with certain servers, from my knowledge. I'm not 100% knowledgeable about that. So I wanted to do test runs first. It was going to take a little bit, to see whether or not it could run fine on Iowa.
That is 100% true. Yeah. Marvel does not run well on Google servers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It runs way better on AWS.
Okay.
Yeah. But the problem with AWS is it does not have an Iowa server, which would be the most central location for an East versus West sort of deal.
Yep.
So I want to at first, try a Google Cloud server. If it doesn't work out, we'll figure something else out, right?
Dude, like I said, let me know. I'm so down to help out with this kind of thing. I am so down to help out with this kind of thing, because it's just something that I'm interested in, is in running events and stuff like that. So just let me know. Let me know if there's any way I can help.
I really do genuinely think that the Granblue community and the game itself are top notch, honestly. And so if like whatever I can figure out to do, whatever my dumb ideas can amount to, I would very much like to showcase that for the rest of the FGC if possible. So, I mean, like, again, if you guys haven't actually played Granblue, I would give it a try if I were you. It does go on sale pretty often, get the base game or whatever. If you're skeptical, don't buy the passes. I'm a terrible shill, but if you're specifically wanting to try the game out, then yeah, just go for the base game when it's on sale. I'm not gonna tell you to.
If you want to be even a worse shill, you can just do Steam friend share and try the game out with your pal.
Yeah, it's basically kind of how sharing accounts would work on PS4 or PS3 for those of you guys who used to do that back in the day. The other person can't be on the account playing the game at the same time, but it still works. Unless you do the Steam like friends function, which is it's basically just Parsec, but what Steam does. Right.
I'm gonna derail just a little bit so people in the chat know how the whole Parsec cloud stuff works. It's basically it's like inviting everybody to your house so that everybody can play. It just happens to be that your house is a server somewhere else in the United States. And so basically you spin up a cloud machine. You have Steam installed there, the game's there. People connect to that machine via Parsec, and then they play versus mode over there. So you're basically circumventing the in-game netcode for the Parsec input netcode and playing it that way. There's a lot of advantages to it over doing it through regular delay-based netcode. Obviously, if you have rollback, it's still better to do rollback, but that's kind of how it works. So
yeah, the easiest way to put it.
Oh, go ahead.
The easiest way to put it is you're not playing offline still. It is still there is still delay.
Yeah.
It is, however, homogenized delay. It is consistent, right? You don't get gigantic lag spikes or anything like that from either person. Yeah. And whomever has the worst connection is the only person that feels the issue, right? Because you are connecting to a server and that's how the game runs for you. Yeah. So if you're playing on your shitty like one kilobit up Wi-Fi or whatever the hell you're doing because you're a heathen, you're gonna get the worst like brunt of it. It's gonna feel terrible for you, but the person you're playing against, they're gonna be like, yeah, whatever, dude, this felt great. Like, I'm fine.
Yeah, because since like let's say you're in Northern California, if you're connecting to the Iowa server, if you play someone in Florida, if you play someone in Iowa, if you play someone in Chicago, if you play someone in New York, you're having the same input delay the entire time because it's just you to Iowa. So whatever you get used to as well doesn't change. That's also another nice thing too. Like whatever three frame input delay you have will be 3-frame input delay no matter who you play. So it's actually really cool.
All right. Well, we got to move on. But thanks a lot for coming on. Do you have anything else that you want to say or pump?
I will pump one thing. I don't usually do it, but I will be on Ronin Rumble's Grand Blue versus Top 8 for Holiday Matsuri that's coming up. It's going to be on Friday or Saturday. Friday. I'll be doing commentary for that. So if you guys want to watch what's going on with the new patch, that will be one of the big events that's going on. So, if you're interested in maybe seeing Yuel, maybe seeing if Diaphone decides to play Yuel in a big tournament or something, you might be able to see that. So
what's the stream URL for that?
That's going to be on Jeff's stream, right?
I would think so, but if you know it offhand.
Well, unfortunately it's changed before, so I can't tell you for sure. Yeah. But I assume it's off on Jeff's stream, which I'm forgetting the URL off the top of my head. I'm very sorry.
It's all good. Nah.
But yeah, so again, I very much would like to implore you guys, try out Grand Blue Fantasy Versus if you haven't just yet. Game goes on sale from Xseed quite often, and I think legitimately that the game's community is top notch. The online scene has made things have hiccups. It's just gonna happen. I feel like I've seen this shit in every scene. Whether it be, I don't know, like some random drama because they're like, oh yeah, I would have beat you, but it's offline or it's online or whatever, Like it's happened everywhere. It's there. I'm just gonna tell you right now because it's happened to other communities. But yeah, it's a great time to get into it. There's a new character, more characters on the way. There's clearly dev support going on.
Right.
I think it's a wonderful game to play, especially if you're looking for that in between of anime and like footsie based like Street Fighter type game. It's not Street Fighter. It's not anime Street Fighter. It's not anime. It's its own thing.
Right.
Don't try to classify it like that.
I mean,
anime.
Yeah. Again, it was one of those games that when I played, I really liked it, and it's just the netcode that kept me from playing it, unfortunately. So
I'm not gonna blame you in the slightest, James. It's that has been a sentiment for a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot lot of people are still playing it despite that. So I mean, hey, I look, if you want to try again, I'll totally play you. You know, we're not very far away from each other. We can play on netcode, or we can try out, you know, your Parsec servers or whatever, figure that out, right? If you really want to do it.
Sure.
But yeah, so basically my conclusion before you guys kick me off and you take the cane to my neck is I think the game is great and you should really try it out. Please do. There's a lot of resources for you to learn the game as well. Diaphone's got a wonderful YouTube channel about how to learn new characters and things like that. Yeah, just give it a try, please.
Whoop. You know what I'm gonna do?
All right.
Here we go. This is what I'm gonna do over here. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this like. I'm trying to like.
Am I gonna darken out?
Yeah, I'm slowly fading.
Remember me as I lived, a Marvel player.
Into Bond Wonderland.
There we go. No, honestly, thanks for Isaiah coming on here. I mean, I just, like I said, I'm really happy to hear a lot about that because from our perspective, we don't get a chance to hear a lot of the positivity about the scene and stuff like that. And I think that's super cool to be able to get that kind of information here and just kind of know what the scene is doing.
I mean, that, you know, between the three of us, like, I feel like we cover, like, most of the fighting games in the FGC, but that's one that I know Tubbo was playing, but, like, hasn't been keeping up with.
Dude, I really liked the game when it came out.
Yeah.
Really loved my character, and then they patched the game, and everything got boring, so...
I'm not
plus the bad netcode, I was just like, nah.
I'm not blowing you up. I'm just saying that it is a game that we like don't really cover ourselves, so it's nice to have somebody on here who definitely does. That was really cool. Thanks a lot to him for coming on for sure.
Yeah, for
sure. Last minute too.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
All right, well, let's move on.
All right, so let's move on to the 5-5 stuff then here.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So, obviously taking place in Kyiv. Is it Russia? This last weekend was the WePlay Dragon Temple event for Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, and I didn't get a chance to see it, but from all the tweets that I saw from Mr. Aquaman and from KP and from all the players that were there, all of them were just talking about the amazing production, how much the WePlay staff just like really catered to them and didn't like hamstring them, like they were even swearing on the stream and stuff. Like they allowed them to be themselves with the high production value of the esports stuff. Now, obviously, David, you got a chance to watch it. Like, tell us a little bit about how the production looked and what happened there.
It was probably the fanciest looking tournament that I've ever seen. Honestly, like it was very, very impressive in a ton of different ways as a viewer. Obviously, I wasn't there. I didn't go to Ukraine, but I'd love to go to Kyiv someday. But you know, I wasn't there this time. So they built like a really elaborate physical set for this thing, and they built like Mortal Kombat looking temples. And they had the analyst and host standing atop the roof with this like amazing screen in the background that made it look like they were standing in front of like a night skyline. It was very realistic looking. And then the players were on the bottom and they were seated like kind of far apart, but like, again, you know, sort of facing each other with, again, like a completely built set, like physically built set. There were stairs leading up from behind it that like KP walked down to give an intro. Yeah. And they had KP and the other hosts and commentators and analysts wearing these robes that they had made for them. And they had augmented reality was involved. So between the players, they would show the players in character select, they would have an augmented reality screen between them of the game action as it was like loading in. They had Ketchup and Mustard commentating who weren't there in person, so they had floating augmented reality screen Ketchup and Mustards up there, like looking down in the same location as the other commentators who were actually physically there.
So Ketchup and Mustard actually didn't fly out to this event then, huh? They actually
weren't
did.
there in person.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. So that is all like really fancy. And they had the ability, dude, augmented reality was a big part of this. They had the ability to like change the whole, not the physical set, but like all the backgrounds, which were a big part of it as well, like on the dime. And they did this a few times to change it between like old temple looking situations and then like a modern or maybe even futuristic skyline kind of look. Like it was just a complete change of the whole scenery in the background. They had people playing music beforehand. They had like some DJs spinning beforehand in the pre-shows.
DMCA for sure.
I think it was probably their music. Like,
damn,
I don't see why not, because they had so much money otherwise.
I mean, that wouldn't be the first time somebody got DMCA'd for using their own music.
That is true, actually. Yeah.
I do want to just.
It seems like there was almost no expense spared.
Right.
$60,000 they gave out. They flew everybody out there. Well, other than KP and Mustard, but than Ketchup and Mustard, but everybody else, all the players, the other commentators, etc. And they did a great job at like testing them with COVID, multiple testing, put them up in a hotel. Like they spent huge amount of money on it. I don't know. Well into the six figures.
I want to just throw in real quick that one of the players that was there, a Foxy Grandpa, is in chat right now, and he says there's been no event I've ever been to that even came close. So
the player himself, huh?
Yeah, he said. So basically, he's saying it right here in the chat that it was just amazing. You know, that his experience was amazing.
It looks great, and that's what everybody has said who was there. So the players got treated really well. The show was incredible. I mean, on top of like the players are always going to put on a good show. It was that was the case this time too. Like this kind of stuff you could just count on the FGC. The commentators did well. Like they like you said, they really did let the like feeling, the sort of like the mentality of the FGC came through, even though there was all this like maximum esports. They would still go back and have an analyst desk that was like Mr. Aquaman and Big D and Katana Prime, and they would just be like saying fighting game stuff and having that kind of attitude about stuff. I don't, not just in the sense that they're talking about the game itself, but like the way that they talked was like at a fighting game event. So it felt simultaneously like maximum esports, but also like pretty fighting gamey at the same time. It was a really good mix of those two.
When Hayate was calling out Foxy Grandpa, like he was swearing and everything, and KP was like, "Whatever, we can do whatever we want."
I purposely didn't watch it, so I didn't know it was going to be like a big thing, right? And then I saw people tweeting about how sick all this was and the production levels, and then you know, in like my group chats, people were talking about it and shit, and I was just like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not watching this. I'm so jealous that all these people get to do this shit and they get to play the game they love and these people are there in person. I was so like filled with jealousy that I was like, I can't fucking watch this. I can't. I'm so angry that they all got to do this and I didn't. I've been stuck at home for 12 months now, basically. Like, come on, man. Yeah. Jeez. I was I literally didn't watch it for that purpose. Like I was really jealous.
Well,
but I'm happy. I'm happy for everybody.
I mean, here's the thing, right? I have this listed as a Ultra Chen 5.5, and so now it's like, well, what is the 5.5? The question is, do we have room for this? Is this what we want? Like, obviously FGC has been kind of like anti-esports or whatever like that, right? But is this the kind of thing that we need more of in the FGC at this point? Do we need events like this, or do we want to stay more grassroots, etc., right? I have an opinion on this, but what do you? Okay, Tubo, you go first then.
Yeah, I just think you can and should do both. We need ground level content creators like, you know, Smug and Cloud and people like that who were top players, even are still top players, but now they focus more on content creation, no Kami, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
We need those people. We need grassroots, pay to enter, you know, anybody can knock off Daigo that day type of tournaments. And we need invitationals. We need all three levels. We can't. The scene doesn't grow without all three. So I think it's good that we have that stuff. I just don't like when people like Perfect Legend say, I hope regular tournaments go away and we only have this stuff. Like,
That's right. That was something I wanted to talk about.
And he, I mean, to be fair, PL's not the first person to say that. Filipino Champ has said it in the past. Some other Marvel players have said it in the past. Like, this is not like a new take for Perfect Legend to have. It's just a whack one. So I hope that we continue all 3 levels, and any other way we can expand this scene is great. And we definitely need grassroots, anyone can enter events for sure. Open brackets. Absolutely.
I want to maintain that as the focus, the idea of the grassroots, and not just because that by itself matters to me, but that I want the people who have put so much time and energy and effort and money, to be frank, into creating tournaments and their own like broadcast systems, that I want that to be able to continue. Like, those are the people I want to support, I think, primarily. But yeah, of course I want to have the other side of things as well. Back in the day when I was concerned about esports, I wrote an article on this for the WePlay website that was basically on this topic. And I wrote about how I was concerned that some esports organizations would make life worse for the FGC in the long run. And I think in some cases that did happen. But I think we are at a state now, even in COVID times, where we're large enough and we're strong enough, and we have enough grassroots folks involved that have built up things enough that I'm not concerned about like what happens if like WePlay runs a few events and then dies for whatever reason. Like, we're not going to go away. We're not going to put all our eggs in that basket. I'm not concerned about this anymore. So I just want to have grassroots events for sure, but also, invitationals, big fancy events, as long as they're good partners. And WePlay is not the first one. Red Bull's been doing that for some years, right? They have a lot of money. They've made extremely cool events. They have a very interesting like creative design in some of their events. They've been doing that, and that's great because part of the reason that works is that they hire FGC people. It's not just like it's Red Bull like coming down from above and being like, hey, fighting games want us to come in and we're going to do it our own way. No, they hire people. They do it like a fighting game kind of way. They like fighting games, people who are doing it. So we have had that kind of stuff. DreamHack's the same kind of thing. Like, they've hired a bunch of fighting game people. Jabali's running tournaments for them. They hire FGC streamers every time. Like, those models already exist. And I'm very happy to have more of that. So WePlay, for sure. If they have more stuff, they're also going to be doing an online league for Mortal Kombat. They've hinted that they're going to be doing it for other stuff in the future as well. So they're intending to stay and do more in the FGC. I'm definitely happy to have that. I don't know that it's practical to expect the kind of opulence that they had in this event, because
look, man, next time someone hires me for commentary, if they don't have an elaborate costume for me, I'm not coming out of my goddamn trailer.
Okay, well, don't come out of your trailer. Maybe they'll just have you in augmented reality looking down from above.
That's true, yeah. I mean, that would be sick too. I'll take either or.
For sure. Yeah, but like, honestly, we can't expect that. Dude. So as long as we understand that like this is a cool occasional treat, it's something that is part of the ecosystem, I think it's great. Absolutely.
Give the Hado lots of money, dude. Let him put on an event like this. I would love to see that. But honestly, like, I know one of the things is a lot of people are talking, there's always this long-term conversation that a lot of esports people think that FGC hates esports or whatever like that. We just don't like the watered down, like, excessive, homogenization of everything, right? So we don't want our commentators to talk like this all the time, and here he comes around the corner and he's about to go and do this damage. Look, it's a super rip, like, that's the kind of thing. We just want to be grassroots in who we are. It's not about big production, not about money, all that stuff like that. If we can get big productions like WePlay does, like I was going to mention Red Bull Kumite in the exact same way, if we can get that, but we're allowed the FGC to be the FGC, there's absolutely no reason not to do it. I think it's great. And again, as long as it doesn't become the focus of the FGC, that the grassroots tournaments, you know, anybody can enter are still the most important thing. Let's absolutely go for it. You know, one of the examples I've always said, you know, is my goal was to become like Inside the NBA on TNT, right? Because it's the professional show on cable TV here with, you know, oh, look, all these famous, all they do is yell at each other and meme and, you know, and get to be themselves on that show there. So much to the point that they've created memes amongst the basketball players. You can be professional and still maintain your personality. That's the main thing.
I did that on that exact stage.
That's right.
That actual literal stage that show takes place on. I did that at a show on TBS. Was it TBS?
It was TBS, yeah.
Anyway, whatever E-League is on. And like we did do that. We did rip each other live on there. Like it was, we had fun, you know.
Absolutely.
So we have been doing that thing for sure.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things. Like, as long as they let the FGC be FGC, as long as they don't try to, you know, fake any sort of kind of craziness or anything like that, if they let the FGC be the FGC, the drama will happen. The crazy stuff happens automatically, right? I mean, it's just a build it and it will come kind of thing. It was always, you know, Seth Killian who said about Evo, it's like, we don't craft the stories. You just build the stage and the stories will happen, right? Because that's just how it is. And so if we can get to that point, absolutely. You know, I mean, for example, when Evo started getting to the Mandalay Bay arena, I thought that was a great thing, right? You know, it was cool to see the growth and everything. As long as we can grow, but I think the most important thing is what you said, David, is we're at a point right now where we can't get taken down by something like that. We're not going to get WePlay or Red Bull coming here running a few invitations, and if they take it away, we're going to be like, God, what do we do now? Like, we'll just be like, whatever. Let's keep running these Matcherino tournaments.
It was fun while it lasted. All right, on to the next thing.
And in general, I would say that this conception of esports that I think maybe too many people in the FGC still have is not really true anymore, where it's really fake. I feel like esports was too fake. Like, you go back and look at the mid 2000s, especially when they're just like doing complete nonsense. And then in the early 2010s, a lot of it came off as fake. The commentary came off as fake to me too often. I think that's not really true anymore for the most part. You know, when I listen to esports commentary nowadays, I do think that it's good. They do rib each other. They have a more, even though they have maximum esports kinds of productions and budgets, and some of them are just run by the dev and publisher, they do nevertheless, I think, bring across like a feeling of not just a show, but like a tournament, an event, a community that differs even by game. So I think that they're doing a better job of it anyway.
I mean, again, like that's, I think because of the FGC, to be honest with you, I think we have a lot to do with that, because casters that I have talked to from the other esports scene have often said to me and other people like Yipes or whatever like that, they're always just like, man, I wish we could commentate like you guys. Man, I wish we were allowed to say that.
You call them casters, though.
Yeah.
They're casters.
I mean, they're casters.
We're commentators. Those guys are casters.
Yeah.
I've had conversations like that as well. I mean, even going back to probably 2011, 2012, like real early stuff in terms of commentary timeline. Yeah, that's true. But in any case, like whether it's because of us or whatever reason, like I do think that they're doing a better job. Okay. So as long as a company like WePlay is not going to cause any shenanigans in the FGC, and I don't see any reason to think that they are, they seem to have done a great job for this event. Very happy to have them do more stuff, for sure.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I told them to do something for Marvel, and they liked my tweet. So.
Yeah.
Ooh. That means it's coming. Yeah, that's confirmation, baby.
Next trip to Eve.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, honestly, bring on more events, WePlay. Let's do more. I mean, it's kind of like the tournaments that are. Oh gosh, what is the tournament called? Boy, my brain is not working today. The ones where they
CEO.
The one that they bring them all into the house. You know, where they play Mafia all the time. What's it called? Summit. Yeah, like Summit. Let's get more summits. Let's get more Red Bull Kumites. Let's get all of these things. I like. If they can do it and keep the personality, there's no reason not to, in my opinion.
I'm down with that.
Yep.
All right, on to the next one.
Congrats, ass player.
What?
All right.
Oh, Okay, when Foxy Grandpa, who ended up getting second place, beat Hayate, one of the best players also, to get into grand finals. I think that was losers finals. Katana Prime interviewed him and was like, "So how did you hit this many overheads?" Because he hit like 1,000 overheads with Sub-Zero. And it was like, how did you do this? He was just like, "Oh, I'm just an ass player. Like anybody can do this. Like, out there, like whatever." Like, good work. Good work. Okay.
5 viewers. We had a doozy of questions here today. I actually had a lot of trouble formatting this, and people on the stream probably could barely read this, but I mean, we had 11 questions this time.
We did. All right, let's get to reading them in case you can't read that. Number 1, if you could adapt a movie or book franchise and turn it into a fighting game, which movie or book would you choose? Number 2, what do you think have been the biggest changes to fighting games over the last 10 to 20 years? How do you think they will change going forward? 3, should game journalist reviews for fighting games lean more on the casual side or expert side? Who should be assessing new games? 4, with Co-op Cup being the first big FGC event to be canceled 2 years in a row due to COVID, what can the community do to support TOs and local scenes in 2021, considering it looks like in-person events are going to be off the table again next year? 5, how should we talk about past important FGC figures who have been removed from the community for being terrible, both for casual conversation and for things like history and documentaries? Number 6, do you think combo tutorials would be better if they were stylized more like DDR-type mini-games? 7, how have your experiences in life affected your gameplay and vice versa, in terms of patience, critical thinking, aggressiveness, etc.? 8, there's a new fighting game. It's free to play, uses good rollback, has all the waifus and husbandos, it has millions of players, pro circuits, and they pay commentators. However, characters are locked behind an abusive gacha pull system. What do you do? Number 9, how open to a generational change in Street Fighter would you be, letting go of all the legacy characters and making SF6 with only young and new characters? Like no Ryu, Ken, or Chun, instead Sean, Makoto, Sakura, etc. 10, when would you feel comfortable going to live events again? What would you like to see at events that TOs could implement, even if there is a vaccine available to the general public? And number 11, should fighting games offer a slow mode for training? Should it be available for live play? Well, here's the winner out of all these.
Man, that's a lot. And the hard part, too, is that these are a lot of questions that I'd like to ask and easily answer.
Dude. Yeah, if we don't get that many next week, we'll just carry some of these
over. I was going to say, they were of higher quality this week than the previous week.
These are really good.
No, all the questions are always high quality, Tubo. There are no bad questions that anybody has ever asked.
All right.
Here's the winner. Number 5, how should we talk about past important FGC figures who have been removed from the community for being terrible, both for casual conversation and things like history and documentaries? My guess is that this is a product of the Metagame documentary that took place over the past weekend, in which I didn't watch it, and we'll talk about it later, but there's no VODs up currently, at least free VODs. But it was streamed live over the weekend, and they showed, important stuff from the Smash scene's history, and some of the people who were involved are now known to have been doing pretty crappy stuff, terrible stuff in some cases, and are basically, excised from the community. And how do we deal with this? How do we deal with the fact that historically some people were very important who now we think suck, but nevertheless, like if you're talking about a documentary, or even if you're just, like this says, talking casually, hanging out, how do you deal with that?
There's a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways to deal with it. It can be like a Pete Rose MLB situation where the MLB just kind of said, we're never going to mention your name ever again. You're not going in history books. You don't get an asterisk, nothing. You can go the, Ray Lewis route where he murdered a guy and got away with it. But he's still going to be in the Hall of Fame and nobody really talks about it. And then there's also just in passing conversation, whatever, talk about it like you would with your friends. Sure, however you want to handle that, that's on you. But as far as documentaries and such, I think it's extremely important that we show these people and we show their ability and we tell their story. And then if you feel a certain way about your documentary, like say you made a Smash doc that you filmed everything 4 years ago and things didn't turn out that way in 2019 and 2020 that you thought they would for these people, just add at the end of the documentary, hey, this player ended up with accusations for this, and this player ended up with accusations for that. And due to these accusations, they pretty much have been outcast from the scene, blah, blah, blah. Just add something at the end to let people know, like, we had no idea that this guy or this girl was doing this thing, but here's what happened, and here was the resolution.
Right.
Like, I mean, that's happened on documentaries since, I don't know, since I can remember watching them. That usually they'll give like a post thought of, hey, here's where they are now. I think that's how you handle that for docs.
I think that sounds right. Yeah, I don't want to airbrush people out.
Right.
For a couple of reasons. One is that it's not being truthful, and I would rather tell the truth in some of these situations. You know, no need to highlight them if their cases weren't, you know, specifically noteworthy for whatever other stuff, like, right? I mean, you don't need to go out of your way to like talk about them, but if they do figure in prominently to some story that you're trying to tell, I think that needs to be in there. And in addition, I don't want to look back on the history of the FGC and only view it either as the past or as the present. I don't think that either one of those is productive. I think that there needs to be kind of a synthesis of those two. I mean, we have an analog to this. Like, how are we going to talk about Mr. Wizard, who was absolutely instrumental in the creation of Evo and the monitoring and moderating of Shoryuken.com and of Pound Capcom, which was huge for the FGC for a long time. I mean, a story of the, especially Capcom fighting game scene in North America, like, you can't tell it without him playing a significant role.
Right.
For sure.
So as you are watching this, you, I think, need to know both that he was important and that that he was doing things, and also that he was also doing terrible things. Like that, you need to have both of those for that to be a truthful story and for us to get the point. I mean, you should make, I feel, the points about who these people are, even if we didn't know about it at the time. You know, you go back just a couple years, a year even, I didn't know, but now that I do know, I am looking back on the past things that happened, and I mean, I don't remember anything that would have made me, even in retrospect, think about that, but I need to nevertheless like interpret how this guy's acting with that knowledge in mind, you know, even retroactively. So that I do definitely think is important. It doesn't need to be the case, like I said, that you are focusing on these people. And I think it's also true that there are lots of really bad things that don't need to be put on a pedestal, right? So I want Confederate monuments taken down. Am I trying to deny the history of the Confederacy? Absolutely not. That's super important to who we were and are. We need to tell that story. We should probably tell that story more, actually. What we should not do is to put that on a pedestal, which is here as if it's something to be lionized, right? I don't want to do that with people in our scene either. I want to tell the story and be truthful, and if it sucked, I want to know that it sucked in these documentaries too. Just like I want to know if it was good, tell me that it was good. You know, I just want to be realistic.
Right. I mean, unfortunately, the truth of the matter is that, you know, this has been the case forever, which is changing now thanks to the internet, but history is written by the winners, right? I mean, like, you only get to hear about, like you said, we don't get to hear about the you know, what the Confederate statues and all these things like that. Like, look up the history of why Central Park was created in New York, and, you know, you'll find out, like, okay, like, we don't talk about these things, and I do implore you to go look up these kind of things. We shouldn't do that in the fighting game community. What we should do is tell the history as the history was, right? So like I said, like, if we talk about the ushering between the changing of the guards from, you know, heart players to scientific players, I know this is a James thing, whatever. I feel like infiltration was one of the most important the bridges between that. He kind of ushered that in. We have to talk about that, but then we can also talk about that, you know, there are situations involving these players. Same thing with Mr. master wizard. You know, he's obviously, you know, been very integral in helping create the FGC of as we know it. But then we should also just talk about, you know, what's happened afterwards. It's history. We should talk about it in the most, you know, historical way possible, is just truthfully and accurately as much as possible. So I just think that that's the best way to approach it. You know, obviously every documentary, even if it is a documentary, is made with a air of either skepticism or bias in it, you know. But I
mean, that's made by people,
right? And the other thing too is that I think it's wrong for people to think that documentaries shouldn't be made that way. Like documentaries, I think that there's absolutely nothing wrong with a documentary having some kind of, you know, slant to it, as long as you're aware of what the opposite arguments and such like that are. So honestly, the way that I would handle this is just talk about it accurately, talk about it, you know, as directly as possible, and just make sure you give all the stories, and make sure you just give all the background information, I think. So that's
Sure.
kind of agree
that
with
sounds right to me.
kind of
Yeah.
agree with the other guys here. So
Right, and most of the takes that I've seen online on Twitter have been similar. Like, they don't want to airbrush people out of history. Even if they were doing bad things, they would just like to also tell that side of the story, rather than just focusing on the good. You don't want to paint somebody who was also doing really bad things as only having been good. That wouldn't be good. So you just have to be complete, or as much as you can anyway, at least in a documentary or whatever format. You know, you're always going to have choices about what to keep in and what to keep out, but I would rather have more complete picture than not.
For sure.
agree.
Yeah, totally. Okay, well, that was interesting. I would love to have watched that documentary, but I commentated for like 10 hours out of 18. 10 of 18 straight hours this weekend, so I didn't have a lot of other time. And when I found out today, I went today to look up the VODs. We'll talk about it later as well, I guess, but you can buy views.
Oh, okay.
You can check out.
Cool. Yeah, we'll talk about the documentary in just a little bit.
Yeah, we will. Okay, cool. Anything else to say about this topic? This is a very good question. I'm surprised that we only had 9 minutes to say about it, but I guess that's it.
Yeah, I know. Interestingly, I think it's also just because we all kind of agreed on it, and so probably not as much to discuss about it. Tubo did go take a break real quick. He's got on, you know, take care of things. But yeah, I mean, I guess just to kind of, I mean, any sort of other expansion on this at all that you have, or do you want to just kind of preview of what the next question is going to be?
Move on to the next one.
Sure, because the problem is, if nothing has changed since I last checked, we have a tie for the second question.
Oh, let's do
Right.
a quick F5 here. Did I just hear a toilet close?
Yeah, you did. I'm pretty sure.
Is this guy Archie bunkering my stream? I can't believe it.
Much better now.
Yeah, I could hear.
Do you want to take a dinghy? No, I took care of that at the press conference. Naked Gun reference. Oh man. So
All right,
good.
here's the two that tied for second place. How have your experiences in life affected your gameplay and vice versa? Patience, critical thinking, aggressiveness, etc. And when would you feel comfortable going to live events again? What would you like to see at events that TOs could implement, even if there is a vaccine available to the general public?
Which one do you want to answer? Both of them, or how do you want to handle this?
Did they actually tie? I could hear everything you guys said, by the way. It took
They
me-
did actually tie.
They
Yeah,
tied.
well, I could hear what you did too.
Well, listen, my microphone is in my front room. I can't help that part. I could have muted it, but it's no fun that way.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. I can't believe there's fart noises on ultra10tv.com.
I know, right?
GGXXAC+R.com.
That's right.
All right.
How have your experiences in life affected your gameplay and vice versa? I think this is a cool one. So I guess what I have to say is that I think that they've had a huge impact on how I deal with fighting games as a player and as a commentator and as just somebody who watches and has fun with them. I felt as I was okay, here's my like rough timeline. I'm in college. I begin playing fighting games competitively in 2002 in my like second half of my freshman year. I am not great. I'm never that great during college for those next like three or so years. I mean, I did okay. I won a tournament or two, but like nothing great. And then I went to law school, and first year of law school, I think I did like maybe all right. I probably did okay in some tournaments. By the second and third year of law school, I was winning a bunch of locals. That was all that I couldn't travel at that time. I just was a student, but I won a lot of locals and regionals in my area. And I really felt like I learned how to think in like a real way when I was in law school. So my ability to like think critically and really like dig deep into material and suss different things apart and notice things and just think in general. I just felt like I got a lot better at it. And in college, that progression was happening too. I was basically taking philosophy, political philosophy, and I felt like that was happening. But once I got to law school in particular, like that, I really feel like that honed in and was helping me identify things in fighting games too. And that sense of being able to think critically is something that I've been working on ever since in my career, but also in fighting games. Fighting games help you learn how to think critically too. So I've always felt like there's this kind of feedback loop between learning how to think critically in school, learning how to think critically in fighting games, applying the sort of lessons of that from one to the other, from learning in school to fighting games, but also from fighting games to school. And yeah, I think that has been a very big impact for me on both of those sides in fighting games.
I mean, for me, it's give or take in every direction. I've learned a lot of things thanks to fighting games. I've learned how to be better at fighting games because of other things. Honestly, one of the things that I hated when I was a kid, obviously, because everybody hates it, is when your Chinese parents make you learn piano and you're just like, God, I don't ever want to do this. And I hate the piano. I hate it's like you have to practice every day for 30 minutes. And I would sit there and stare at the clock for 30 minutes. And then as soon as 30 minutes were done, all right, close the piano, run away and everything like that. At one point when my brother first went to UCLA, he would find all the sheet music of songs that we loved in the Schoenberg Music Library at UCLA. And so he would just photocopy a bunch of them and then bring them home. And then I was like, shoot, I want to learn these things. So I started basically reteaching myself piano after, I went for lessons for like less than a year and quit because my parents were like, he's just not learning at all. So, but I ended up teaching myself. And largely that's where a lot of the love for execution, appreciation for execution, and the ability to sit down and practice over and over and over again, doing the same setup over and over again. And that kind of love came from, I would play the same part of a song over and over and over again until I could actually do it, the muscle memory, etc., etc. So that's kind of like how I took something from the real world into the fighting games. Fighting games, I mean, I have a terrible temper. People can see this on stream all the time. I'm yelling and getting mad about everything constantly. And yet somehow my temper is about like twice as like maybe like 3 or 4 times better than it was when I was growing up. Like, it's pretty crazy just how violent I used to get when I would lose stuff. And that was because as a kid, I never lost. Like, I'm not even going to lie. I beat everybody in everything. I beat everybody in board games. I was the smartest kid in my class, everything, et cetera, et cetera. I won everything that was competitive until I started playing fighting games. And it wasn't until I started playing fighting games that I realized that I couldn't just instantly be the best at everything. And so it actually taught me a lot in how to lose a little bit better. And it's weird because I still get mad, but like I said, the lengths of anger that I get to these days are so much smaller than I used to be. I have broken so many things in my house when I was a kid because of how mad I would get. And not only that, but when I do get mad, a lot of the times, thanks to fighting games, I blame myself. right? I get mad at my own lack of ability and stuff like that. So fighting games really did help me a lot in that kind of situation. So there's a lot of give and take in both ways. And, you know, to echo what David said about critical thinking, that's obviously just there too. The way I approach a lot of things changed thanks to fighting games. But again, a lot of the things that I liked to do when I was a kid was understand why things worked, which is why I got into the fighting games and wrote all the FAQs and stuff. So it's really a give and take in both directions. So a lot of very high benefits going both ways.
I have like nothing to add, to be honest. like I don't think I can relate in any sort of fashion. Like, fighting games have affected my life more than my life has affected how I play fighting games.
Okay.
So I think when you think of a fighting game player, at least most players, if you know them well, you can go, oh, I know that David is going to want to play the grappler and the long Marth. Like, that's what he likes. I know James generally likes to pick characters that are lower tier or not played as much. People have tried to peg me as like, oh, that's a Tubbo character. And I think David's the only person who's ever gotten it right when he said, he's like, I don't think Tubbo really fits any type of character build. I think he picks a character he likes and plays that character, which is true. Like, there are certain things that I look for in a character, but it's never like it has to be this archetype, right, or I will not play the game, or I won't play the character. Like, only thing I haven't played seriously is like a true Zangief grappler.
Right.
Every other archetype I've played in every other sort of game. So yeah, I don't think that like outside influences come into my fighting games. I think fighting games go to my outside influences. I think it's the other way around.
Okay.
I mean, fighting games definitely changed my life. Fighting games are the reason why I'm living where I am right now. Fighting games are the reason I've been to, like, I don't know, 30-something states at this point. Like, like fighting games have affected my life way more than outside influences have affected how I play or how I think about the games. Because I don't know, man. Video games are my escape. They're not. I'm not trying to like, oh, that guy made me so mad at work, I'm going to go beat up, E Honda. Like, that doesn't translate to me. It's like, I don't want to think about any of that other shit while I'm playing fighting games. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I do, after having thought about it a little bit more while you guys were talking, I do think that I also, I play fighting games in a similar way to how I played sports, which was that in sports...
You'd like to beat up on little kids.
In sports, I would do a spinning 360 pile driver and destroy my opponent's neck.
Okay. I mean, I didn't beat up on little kids. We didn't have enough hockey players in my local league, so we folded some of the age groups together. And yeah, I mean, I was 13 years old and I was playing with 9-year-olds.
David
also,
was trucking the shit out of 9-year-olds. He's going through puberty. They have no idea what's happening.
And also, I still led the league in penalty minutes that year.
You were a goon. You're just a goon.
But I also led the league in goals, assists, and points because I was huge and everybody was a foot tall. So I got a lot of penalties just because I was like skating and like a little kid would be in front of me. And I didn't even notice. But it is true though that like when I was in leagues that were like of an appropriate age, I still led the league in penalty minutes. Honestly, like I like to frustrate people.
Yeah.
When it's in a situation like that, in a competitive situation, I've always enjoyed frustrating people. I would rather play defense because I got more value out of stopping somebody from scoring a goal than scoring a goal. I had the like euphoria of making somebody not do something that they wanted to do and seeing their face afterward was like way better than if I were to try to actually score on my own.
Or listening to the little kid yell at about your RoboCop, right?
Exactly.
Why do you have to play like that, you
And on top of that, to try to be good offensively requires a lot of practice. I mean, I guess all sports are like that, but In hockey, that was true. This ones that I played, hockey, football, and basketball, that was certainly the case. And so if you wanted to put in time, you could get good at that. I didn't want to put in time practicing. I just wanted to have fun playing. And so it came very naturally to me to like read where people were going to go when they were on offense and I was on defense. That's fundamentally what defense is about in those sports. And that was a blast to me. So it ticked all the boxes of like trying to frustrate people, not wanting to put in any actual time, and just trying to have fun, because that is exactly how I play fighting games too. So you know, now that I think about it, I think that is true. There's a lot of crossover for me.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Can't say the thing, man.
I mean, it explains a lot. I mean, it explains why, like I said, I actually gained a lot of the practice ability through the musical instrument stuff. But, you know, that definitely shows why there is such a difference in terms of, you know, combos, execution, enjoyment, and, you know, and less desiring for that, you know, kind of thing.
That makes total sense. Yeah. I mean, I've never wanted to frustrate people like in other situations. One of the reasons that I've always liked competition is that it's like an outlet for that. It's not actually bad. Like, it's not gonna harm anybody else for real. It's just like a, you know, that is the outlet for that feeling for me. Like, at the same time, I was leading the league in penalty minutes. I was also like a youth organizer for the Green Party because I was already a huge leftist. Like, those are. It's never been because in competition, it's like it's a way to get these feelings out without needing to put it anywhere else.
Right. Sure. Okay. I'm trying to find your tweet, David, where you actually made that kid rage, and I can't find it right now. But if anybody else gets it, it's just so I can type it in the chat for people.
Yeah, put it in media there. Just go to the media one.
Oh wait. Oh, the media tab, you mean? Oh yeah. Good call. I thought it was retweeted on UltraChen account, but I guess it wasn't.
I almost for sure retweeted that on the UltraChen too.
Okay. I guess I just missed it.
It's harder to find retweets than it is the original.
There you go.
Is this the one right here? Yeah, it is. It is. Okay. Should I just play this on stream, dude?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's just play this on stream. Oh, this is so good. I love this thing. So, hang on, let me do this.
I have hippie parents. I mean, my dad used to lead protests at UCLA sit-ins against the Vietnam War, so I guess.
Yeah.
Although they weren't, as I was growing up, they were, I mean, they were like more on the left than the right, but I would say not hippies at that point.
Here we go. Here's Ultra David's clip of making a poor little kid angry here.
First of all, this guy was legit, all right? This Johnny player. I'm just having a good time. Just playing some shooty guns.
Shooty bang bang.
Shooty gun.
Caltrops. Oh, catching low.
See, I cut forward there because he got in on me and he dealt some damage because this player was actually pretty good.
Well, your RoboCop build is super just annoying.
I do think it's good versus some characters, but yeah, I mean he's okay overall. He's not great. So okay.
Yo, why do you so fucking play like that, you pussy ass bitch? Oh my god.
Yes.
You fucking pussy. I hope your mother gets fucking cancer. Go kill yourself, kid.
Yeah.
No one fucking loves you. Oh,
Yes.
no one loves you. No one loves you.
Shades of
Yes.
No one. You fucking loser.
I'm not leaving this screen. You can keep talking. Oh man. Nice. Yes. Oh, what a time to leave. That was the last match of the stream for sure.
Yeah, I hope that kid gets no Christmas presents.
He had a dirty mouth.
Yeah, what a jerk.
Ooh, I feel good. I feel so
I was
good.
like 15 before I started swearing like that, alright?
Yeah, what a... I mean, what a jerk out there. I was just having fun, and this little kid... I mean, look, he actually was pretty good at the game. Like, it was 2-1. It wasn't actually a blow-up. But in any case, yeah, sure. Is that fun for me? Yes. I'm not specifically trying to troll playing RoboCop. I just enjoy the strategy of it as well. But it has the amazing side effect of also trolling people sometimes.
Dude, I understand that. My Street Fighter V account is a very private name. because I am the biggest asshole. I'm so toxic. Like I don't play Honda in a toxic way, but
Yeah.
if I stun you, I'm for sure gonna taunt you and teabag you.
Yeah.
Like,
What
I
a
mean,
jerk.
that's the thing.
I'm the biggest jerk.
This is
I don't even do that.
I mean, this is the reason why I think I can't play David. Because I know David likes to frustrate people, and I get frustrated very easily, and I don't like playing people who's just out there to frustrate you. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I don't like playing David.
I play a lot of really annoying characters for that purpose.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You do. You do.
Yeah, I like pissing people.
I was playing on stream, and this guy popped up who had his mic on. He was all chatty. And I was playing other variations of RoboCop just to test stuff out. But when I heard that, I was like, this is a chance to farm more content to get hilarious clips like this. So I picked that variation of RoboCop, and I double flawless the guy. I blew him up. I ate him alive, and he had turned off his microphone.
Oh,
And I was the one who was pissed because he didn't give me any hilarious clips.
eat it. You don't get the satisfaction, you jerk.
Yeah, exactly. All right. You want to move on to the
Yeah, we
next
gotta
one?
move
I mean,
on here. What
it
are we
was
doing?
similar to, the kind of the same reason why I didn't like playing Edma, because Edma used to laugh every time he did anything to you and stuff like that, right? So,
He was definitely your kryptonite.
Yeah,
And for me, that had no effect. So I guess that
Right.
makes sense.
that's why I keep telling people I don't like playing David in fighting games, because it's a personality. It's not even the in-game weakness, it's the personality weakness. Like, even if David loses, he'll do it in a way that'll frustrate me. Like, he'll just jump on his wake up 10 times in a row, even though I anti-air him every time. And he'll just do it and knows that he gives me no satisfaction in winning. So
I think of losing that round, which I would lose, as an investment in winning the rest of the set.
yep,
against you.
exactly. So
I know what the result will be.
yep,
Jesus.
exactly. So that is
right,
why
all right,
I will not play David in fighting games. So, all right.
move
Do we
on.
want to do the other question or no?
Let's just give it like a very brief answer, if that's cool.
Sure.
When would you feel comfortable going to live events again? What would you like to see at events that TOs could implement, even if there's a vaccine available to the general public? What I'm hoping for, yes, of course, is the vaccine, but I will not, once I get the vaccine, go back to living how I did before. If I feel like I'm under the weather, I'm either not going to go outside anymore, or if I do, I'm going to have a mask on. I'm not planning to go to events and shake a bunch of people's hands. I'll give you elbow daps. Like, I'm probably just going to change some of that stuff. As far as what I'm looking for from tournament organizers, some people may have to run events who would not like to run events because I don't know that things are going to be cancelable. We'll talk about Co-op Cup and some of the problems that they're going through with this right now. So that is something that certainly could come up. I just hope people do their best to spread things out, to have enough space between spots, to not be rubbing against people constantly as I'm walking through a fighting game event. I don't know how practical that request is, but I hope that
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, man, my biggest hope is everybody gets a vaccine really quickly, which isn't looking like that's going to happen. But yeah, everybody gets it real quickly. Everybody, for the most part, is vaccinated by like March or April, and then hopefully by the end of next year we can start going back to stuff. Like, that's me being very hopeful.
Right.
But I guess what I'm a long-winded way of saying is, once the majority of Americans are vaccinated to the point where herd immunity becomes not such a terrible thing, at least, not in the way that it's done our country right now. You know what I'm saying? Then I'll feel comfortable. Like, I just want to feel like, even if I'm vaccinated and I happen to be carrying it, that the majority of people I'm with are also vaccinated, so I can't spread it to them. Like, I've had terrible guilt over the fact that maybe I spread COVID and I had no idea, and like, it still bothers me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So long as I feel like I'm not spreading it to the majority of people, or have a very low chance to do it, I'll go back to events. Like, I would absolutely love to see CEO or Evo. I'm assuming Combo Breaker is not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because it's in May, and that's like right on the borderline, So, yeah, that's man, that hurts to say.
Like,
You should still keep socially distanced after vaccination.
Keep
You should
wearing
still
the
wear a
mask.
Like, don't Don't pretend like it's gonna solve all the situations.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, for me, it's just about the trends, right? I just want to see the cases rate go down to basically nothing, right? I mean, New Zealand has been at basically nothing for the longest of time, and they didn't declare themselves completely open until just recently, right? It was like literally
Australia
last week.
as well. Australia is really low.
And so that's all I want to see is just, us get to that point. Instead, we're at this point right now where literally 1 in 1,000 people have died. Like, if you think about that, like, that is absolutely a terrifying number, right? People are like, oh, well, only 2%, there's like a 98% survival. Dude, 1 in 1,000 people have died in our country right now.
Yeah, it's a third. Yeah, it's not.
In North Dakota, it's approaching 1 in 500.
My God. And that was traced back to that motorcycle rally thing too. So, it's just like, I am full of terror every time I go see my parents. Like, honestly, like I went home for Thanksgiving and my parents were like, yeah, this is the first time you've been home in like 4 months. I didn't even realize it was that long, but that's just because like I'm terrified to go see my parents. I don't want to be an asymptomatic carrier. I'm not 100% the safest person out there because I'm always going out and getting fast food and shit like that and going to the grocery store and stuff. Who knows what the hell happened. And like, it's absolutely terrifying to me. So, I've had good friends who are be like, hey, let's hang out, James. And I'm like, I can't really do that.
I haven't seen a friend in person since March.
Yeah.
I mean, my brother and sister-in-law had a baby last week, and I would really love to have been able to go there. And, I could have been risky and done it, but I didn't. So I would love it if I will go as soon as I can.
Yeah.
But now is not the time. I mean, it's never been worse in LA and in San Francisco where they live.
And to be honest with you, until it's that safe, I don't even know if I could support an offline event that's like, hey, James, we'll fly you out to this event. We're not sure if it's crazy safe yet, but we'll do our best. Like, I don't know if I could support something like that because that could be
Tupperware raking in the COVID dollars.
Yeah.
All right.
Because it could honestly be a super spreader, right? And I just, I can't support something like that. So do I have to make that decision? Hopefully not, because like I'd most likely just be like, no, you guys shouldn't be running this event, at all. Like that shouldn't even be a thing you're doing at all. So, I really, really do. I don't feel like I can go back to an event and feel safe about it until we see the trends go down. And that is part of, people getting vaccines and everything. But for me, it's really just about those numbers. Are we getting to a point where we have 1 case a day? Have we dropped down to that point? Then maybe, then even still, then maybe, because until we hit like 0 cases in a day, which will still be like 7 months or 8 months from now, it
will be longer than that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a while.
I should say 7 to 8 months from now at the earliest, and most likely not. So
it's a long time away for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Okay. There's other game and community news to talk about, although we're going to kind of go through that because we've gone pretty long already.
Right.
In Mortal Kombat 11, there was a small patch last week. It didn't change terribly much, but it effectively gave a buff to a few characters. It kind of just fixed glitches and some like weird interactions. And as a result, like slightly buffed Robocop, Katana, Rain, maybe like a little bit. So now there's a variation of RoboCop that I wanted to play before that previously you couldn't do just because they didn't allow it because there was a problem with one of the moves. Now you can do it, and RoboCop's better as a result, I think. So that's cool.
You're going to have more kids yelling at you, David. You're going to have more kids yelling at you now.
That's not for shooty guns variation.
Okay.
That's command grab / flamethrower. In Soul Calibur 6, there was a patch as well. I don't know if you looked into that, James.
No, I have not looked into that. So,
okie dokie. SNK,
sorry.
I don't know SNK is making a new console.
Yeah, that looked real sketch to me.
What in the world? Yeah,
that looked real sketch to me. I feel like their new console is either going to be like SNK's version of Stadia, or it's quite literally like one of their mini arcades or something, and they just didn't translate properly. Like, there's no way they're making their own PlayStation or own Xbox. There's no way in that.
Console is coming from SNK
No way
in 2021, a system to bridge the needs between passionate fans and console gaming enthusiasts. And then there's a GIF there that says, "Who is the best player?" And it's got a relief of the world behind it and a Wi-Fi symbol. So
yeah, it's almost for sure just like a Stadia thing. It has to be some cloud gaming thing. There's no way they're putting out their own console.
You think it's like cloud gaming of like old SNK games?
Yeah, or maybe even like a little mini arcade cabinet or something. Something of that sort.
Maybe Stadia was so happy with the performance of Samurai Showdown on their platform that they have combined forces, and now it's going to be called the Stadia NK, so the SNK, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there's just man. Put it this way: if they come out with their own standalone gaming console that you buy games and play on it like a standard gaming console, if they do that in 2021, I'll eat the sleeve of this shirt. There's no way it's happening. It's not happening.
My roommate.
Do you know where shirt's been? That sounds disgusting.
Yeah, it would be really hard to swallow, to be honest.
Yeah, it was been on you.
I said what I said.
Okay, man. Good luck to you. We'll see how that turns out.
My roommate joked, he's like, what if they announced the console and then said, this is the only console KOF 15 is coming out on? I mean, that would just that would basically be the death knell for the company. I mean, they've already, it would be a big
bummer.
Yeah. Oh, man. So hopefully,
it's probably just like Neo Geo Mini, like Super Nintendo.
I mean, they've had stuff like that already, right? They've had a bunch of that stuff already. So it's just, there's just no good that I feel like could come out of this unless they could really surprise us with something, is there a way that they could really do something that's worth our time anyway?
If they did that and KOF 15 was like their launch title, that would just be that'd be peak SNK.
Yep.
Peak SNK.
Alrighty. Guilty Gear XX Accent Core Plus R is currently $2.69 on Fanatical for the PC version.
For excellent rollback netcode.
Exactly right. I highly recommend that you toss $2.69 at that thing just to support the idea of it. Even if you don't, I literally did this last time it was on sale. I paid $2.99 at the time, even though I'm not
ripped off.
Yeah, I know.
Like, will I give them half of what it costs to buy a sandwich to support the idea of this? Yes, I'll do that. Community news.
That's a cheap sandwich you're getting these days, man, because I swear, I go buy some McDonald's and that shit's like $12 already nowadays. Dude, a combo.
For just a sandwich.
Dude, not for just a sandwich, but for a combo that used to be like $6 or $7, it's like $12 nowadays, man.
Yeah, hold that.
That's wild. Well, whatever. We move on. Community news. This is some crappy stuff. Cooperation Cup has been canceled due to COVID again. It was actually canceled last year as well for the same reason. The last time that a Co-op Cup happened was January of 2019. Co-op Cup was the really big Third Strike team tournament that took place in Japan. It's a super awesome event. It's been very, very long running. People fly from all over the world to Japan for it, and Japan itself still has a very strong scene for that game, and there are tons of teams who enter. It's a blast to watch. But it's not going to happen again this time. So that is unfortunate for sure.
I mean, Japan's been handling COVID really well, but I think it's probably because a lot of foreign people come out to it and such, or
it's
also just to be... Well. What's that?
Yeah, numbers have been going up in Japan.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So... Unfortunately, although the event is canceled, they couldn't cancel the venue. And that means that they are losing a butt ton of money.
No.
They're still having to pay for the venue even though they're not running.
So they couldn't get their what is it clause called? The
like a force majeure kind of situation.
Yeah, the force majeure. That's right.
That didn't apply this time?
I don't know what contracts even are like there, dude, to be honest. But,
yeah, that's fair.
I don't know contract law there, but no, whatever situation, nope, they are stuck with it. So As a result, I'll put this in the YouTube video, but there are links to support them by PayPal and Streamlabs, and you can subscribe to them on Twitch. I really thought that I put the link to that information here. Tom talked about it. Arlieth.
Oh yeah, of course.
Bring that up here so that I can at least say what these things are called.
Co-op is like the only time I watch Third Strike 2, and I actually
it's so
really
good.
enjoy it. It's
good.
Like even if you don't care for the game at all, it's just the emotion the players play with, and some of the shit they pull off is incredible.
Yeah, and honestly, no matter what you think about the way Third Strike plays, or if it's not for you or whatever like that, high level Third Strike is always going to be one of the most enjoyable fighting games to watch, no matter what. It's because the stuff that they do is just downright dirty, and that game has a lot of dirty stuff, and it's one of the things that makes it so fun, you know. When you see someone defeat the, Ganajin, it's just like, oh, come on. Like, this is just great.
Until Yun does 3 more empty palms and then has it back.
Yeah.
He goes, ha, ha, ha. No, there's a meter.
Yeah, smashing down strong.
Yep.
So you can support them by helping them out on PayPal. That's paypal.me/GameNewton01, the numbers, GameNewton01.
Okay.
Or check them out on Twitch and give them a sub. That's twitch.tv/GameNewton.
Can you paste those links into the chat, by the way? Yeah.
I can. I'm actually just going to post Tom's tweet into the chat because he has more info all laid out there. And then I'll put that in the YouTube bit as well. Okay. Yeah, that sucks. I hope that things get better there, but who knows? In any case, help out a part of the community that's been an integral part of the FGC for a long time, both in Japan and around the world. As far as other community news, Capcom Cup community vote update. This is ending in just a couple of days at this point. I believe it's the 8th. Man. That this ends, 18th is when it ends. And just as a reminder, this is who gets into Capcom Cup. The last spot is a fan vote spot, and currently the leader is Luffy, Red Bull Luffy. Second place is TUQ Zenith. So 18,000 votes for Luffy, 14,000 votes for Zenith, 10,000 for Tokido, 9,000, well, just under 10,000 for Punk. Then Sako has 5,000, etc., etc. Everybody's really far back after that. And Luffy got that much in part because the French Ministry of Sport has been pumping it as well, and it's been on TV too in France. So he's just obviously going to end up getting a bunch of support like that. Yeah. And for Zenith, who's Brazilian, the Brazilian scene has been supporting him super hardcore. I have also been told that one of Brazil's biggest TV presenters is a big fan of the FGC and has previously said so on the air. One of their biggest folks on the television is just an FGC fan.
I was going to bring that up too, David, because I think both Luffy and what's his name,
Zenith, yeah.
They're both cheaters.
Okay, well,
both cheating.
So Zenith, as far as I know, hasn't yet had that guy on his side, and there are still a couple of days on this. And what I am wondering is if he or Luffy or any of these other ones, do they have that last minute push to get over the top? Because you don't want to come out with guns blazing too early, right? Because at that point, people will then realize, oh, I got to do a lot of work too, and come up again. If you instead save it till the very end, maybe you can slip in unnoticed.
eBay sniping.
That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna wait, and then he's gonna nudge his homeboy at the talk show, and all of a sudden, James, wasn't that the guy you retweeted or something? And then you learned. I feel like they're the same person, but this is actually circular. Who's that guy that you said if you tweet, you automatically get retweeted?
Oh no! That was Shah Rukh Khan.
Yeah,
somebody else.
I was gonna say, man, I hope they're secular and relate. But either way, he's for sure. If that guy drops that bomb, it's done. He's gonna win. But Luffy also used his own government. Both these guys are cheaters, man. No way, they're cheaters.
Can you put that up? Is that possible?
Yeah, I'm definitely putting this up.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's also the one who drew the Oro picture of me with the cats. So
he puts art here sometimes. Yeah, for sure, it's great.
Yep.
So again, you just have a couple more days to vote. If you want somebody to win this vote, now's the time to do it. People are angry that Luffy is getting support. I guess Tubbleware turns out to be one of them. I didn't expect that, but in any case, it's good because Capcom's getting a little bit more exposure, and that's obviously what they're going for here.
Listen, man, I'm just salty because I want Tokido to win.
He might. What if he has like some secret TV?
And he'll be a dirty cheater too. What does that mean? This is not a fan vote. This is a
hey, look,
get my government to back me vote.
If it's in the game, it's in the game, right? That's how the FGC works. So
I guess, man.
But yeah, shout out to Tagman Inc. for this awesome picture here.
That's so cool.
That's
so cool. Look, I'm missing a tooth. I love it. I have a mullet. I guess I have a mullet kind of in real life right now, don't I? But there you go. There's a mullet as well.
You're a goon. I mean, you've had one before. It's nothing new, right?
I have had one before. I got Zangief scars on me all over my body. It's just an awesome little drawing overall. Genius.
Oh man, so good.
All right.
Okay.
I had mud chops at 13. No, at 14. Fact.
Oh, because
I came to school after the summer break. I came to school having grown these bad boys out. Let me tell you, I was the talk of all of my friends. Can you believe David can grow a beard and he's got these sick chops? That actually happened. This was the true.
I don't think anyone said, can you believe David has sick chops? Nobody said that in your high school, dude. No one.
Okay, maybe not that. But they were like, wow, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I don't think they said that either. I feel like you're misremembering.
And
I wasn't there, but something tells me.
Let's invite David to all the cool high school parties, and that definitely.
I was also the most popular kid in my high school.
Man, I feel bad because I actually was super popular. People fucking loved me in high school.
Yeah,
but I peaked there, so you guys are.
All right, we move on.
All right.
The documentary that we talked about briefly before, just to say a little bit more info about it, it's an 8-part sequel to the original Smash Bros. Doc, which many people think had a giant influence on the resurgence of the Melee scene, most of a decade ago at this point. And it mostly focuses on the so-called 5 gods of Smash and Leffen coming in and all that kind of thing. Again, I didn't watch it over the weekend. It was live streamed over the weekend. I was really hoping to be able to watch it the next couple of days, but it's not working like that. So the idea here is that it's on Vimeo, and I'm going to put the link to it in the chat. It's
support them, David. If you want to see it, support them.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah. So you can watch it for $3 an episode, which is really cool. The intention here, Travis Beauchamp's the guy who made it, and he would like it to be on Netflix, which is super cool. I really hope that happens. And that's part of why it's not just freely available right now.
Yeah, okay.
So that it's going to be picked up by somebody else.
I hope he gets his dream. That's all.
Totally.
Package it with
I saw tweets. I saw a lot of tweets about it.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people upset that Leffen was made to be a bad guy.
Yeah, Leffen was mad about it.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, most of the Smashers that I saw tweeting were upset about it too. Like, why make it seem like it's a bad thing that a new kid is in town and beating all these gods?
Did they Billy Mitchell him, basically?
Yeah, but Billy Mitchell actually sucks.
Yeah, actually, he does suck.
That dude is awful.
But I did read, though, that the guy who made it is planning to change some stuff, like not to talk about things that Leffen said when he was like a 15-year-old kid as being like relevant to him today, which is good. And Mango tweeted something like, just be glad that things that you said and did between the ages of 15 and 20 weren't like recorded for all time, which I also am very happy about, certainly. So, there you go. A little biased, I guess, but in any case, it's a documentary, and I'd love to. Well, I'll watch it, over the next couple of days. I think that's super cool. So, the Smash Code of Conduct is formally disbanding.
Yeah, I'm adding some more time to the clock because I didn't realize there was this much to talk about here in community. So
there's still a few things after this. So the Smash Code of Conduct is officially disbanding. They were a few years that they were working. They had a twit longer that was essentially like, to boil it down, this was too much work. It's too difficult. It's very emotionally draining. And on top of all that, there were tons of attacks against them from the community itself. And so they just felt like this job of like trying to, help the community become better was something that the community itself wasn't into. And, you know, it's just a small group of people who were trying to make this work, and they were earnestly trying to do it, but just didn't think that they could keep it up. So they are formally closing, unfortunately.
It's unfortunate, but yeah, I mean, the hardest part too is that, you know, it is one of those things that you're going to get attacked for a lot, right? I mean, that's the way it is. If, you know, if you're trying to hamper someone from being a jerk and they don't like that, then they're going to be a jerk to you, and you just kind of have to deal with it. So, I mean, honestly, it's a tough situation because on one hand, maybe you might want to make the people who are in the code of conduct group anonymous, so they can't be targeted. But at the same time, if they're anonymous, then there's going to be a lot of claims of corruption, and you don't know who's responsible and everything like that. And it's like, it's a tough situation, and I'm not sure what the right way to solve this is. I know the fighting game community was trying to do some code of conduct as well, and they're going to get attacked in very similar ways, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And so,
I mean, already have
Yeah,
been.
absolutely.
right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sucks. But unfortunately, the bigger we get, and the fact that we aren't esports, the fact that we don't have multi-million-dollar corporations making rules for us, we have to do it on our own. Like it has to be done. We're too. Right. I'm speaking purely from the FGC. Like we're too big to not have that now.
No central government, essentially. Yeah. So
just like, you know, just people to push people in the right direction. We need that. It sucks. I hope somebody picks up the mantle for Smash because they need it too. I mean, yeah, it sucks. It sucks because there's no easy way to go about it. There's no good way to go about it. Make sure that people don't get harassed. But it's necessary. So I can just say I'm glad I'm not one of the people on any of those panels making those decisions.
That is tough times for sure. Thanks to Yoloni McSwaggerelli for the subscription and for making me read out that name. I actually appreciate that.
It's one of the best names. It's always one of the best names.
Tekken Zaibatsu is closing down.
Yeah, that sucks.
This is, well, I guess was really the biggest Tekken web forum and was for, you know, 2 decades. It started in 2000 as a major community hub, and it is closing. Castell, the guy who runs it, just put a real quick message onto the message board. The time has come to close the book on this site. It has been a pleasure to serve the Tekken community for some 20 years, but the plug will be pulled sometime late this year or early next year. That was a couple weeks ago. And then had a follow-up post that was like, wow, I didn't expect to see all of you popping up to say farewell. So the reason is I personally have been checked out from the scene for some time now, and I just don't have the time or desire anymore to keep the site going. I suspect by now most of the conversation has moved on to social media platforms, but this serves as a notice to wrap things up on Tekken Zaibatsu.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, this is just an end of an era. It was a big, formula.
If people don't know, Castell was instrumental in this. I mean, Tekken Zaibatsu was basically the yang to Shoryuken.com's yin, right? It was just like those two sites were the sites that really just were dominating a lot of the FGC. They were both very, very important. And, you know, at one point in time, you remember Shoryuken was going to close down, and that kind of stayed alive. And now Tekken Zaibatsu. Just the forums were going to close down. That's right. And Castell, I mean, I've met the guy. He's a great guy. He's I mean, in case you guys don't know, he's like a master chef now, which is why he really hasn't been doing a lot of stuff for FGC stuff. He's focused on that part of his career. But he's done so much for it, and that Tekken Zaibatsu is very, very important. And, you know, I'm sad that we don't talk about it as much as we have in the past. You know, as we people have talked about Shoryuken.com and et cetera, because Tekken Zaibatsu was just as important.
I mean, you and I were more on the Capcom side of things at that time than on the Tekken side of things. Yeah, I would say that it was SRK, Tekken Zaibatsu, and Dustloop. To me, it felt like the three in the 2000s that were like the ones that you went to. Know anything. And I mean, I was mostly in SRK myself, but I have a Tekken Zaibatsu account from 1,000 years ago too, probably made in 2003 or 4, I don't know, whenever I was playing Tekken 5. And I mean, it's
one thing I do want to add on to this though is it's not technically over and done for Tekken Zaibatsu. I got a message from somebody. I can't remember their name. Let me actually see if I can find it real quick.
Oh yeah, James's DMs. Where are the news?
We're looking at James's right now on a screen share, and we can see everybody who's talking to him.
Yep, pretty much.
Wow, Barack Obama.
Don't. That's
Justin
the one.
Wong.
That's the one you shouldn't be talking about, dude. Come on. Why are you revealing that stuff here? I can't remember who the. Oh wait, I think it's this. No, it's not that one. Okay, so basically, there's a guy out there who is going to be the new host of the SRK Wiki. The SRK Wiki is either moving to a new site or something like that, but he's taking up all that information, putting it into a new place. Apparently, he is also, if I'm not mistaken, the same person now who's going to take all of the forum content for Tekken Zaibatsu, all the discussion, and actually archive it at this site as well. So he's going to archive all that stuff. Apparently, he's going to try to take a bunch of information from all the other wikis out there and kind of like try to collaborate them all together. So that'll actually be really, really cool if he can actually pull that off. It'd be really, really nice. Trying to see if I can...
That's true. 8-Way Run was the site that a lot of people went to for other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Smash Boards for Smash.
Right.
For sure.
It's not these ones here.
Give it up, James.
Yeah, I don't have it here, unfortunately. So.
Unfortunately, searching through Twitter DMs is just not like a very easy process.
It's stupid, dude. I hate Twitter DMs, to be honest with you, because you can't mark things as unread either. Ugh, that's like
you just turn off your read receipts like I do. Pro tip.
What do you mean?
You can turn off your read receipts.
But does that highlight them as unread again?
Oh, no.
See, that's the thing, because like sometimes I read a DM and I'm like, I'll get to this later, but since you can't mark it as unread, I forget about it, basically. So
I see. Well,
yeah.
Darn.
Yeah.
There is a site called what is this? Feedback Flow, that is essentially a way to put up a recording of yourself playing fighting games that will let other people comment on it in specific time slots.
Oh boy.
Like exactly at certain moments, so that you can like maybe help other people out.
Oh no, this site sounds...
This is not
great.
going to work out.
I can't wait to use it.
You're thinking of it in a negative way. What?
Absolutely.
Are you gonna go be a jerk on this?
Yeah, who
Are
wouldn't?
you gonna timestamp this right here?
This moment is where you suck the most, and let me tell you why.
Worst.
In this TED Talk, yeah, absolutely, that's what people are going to use it for, man.
You know,
kidding me?
People have always come up to me and they're like, I'm going to create this new resource where everybody can submit all their content. It'll be a great like place for everybody to put all their knowledge together for fighting games and stuff like that. I'm like, I already tried this. It was the Shoryuken Wiki. It didn't really work very well. And tubeware is the reason why these things don't work.
Yeah. Alternative puts up a match. Listen, Jack. Here's where you suck and why.
Imagine having fun making other people feel that frustrated. You guys, I don't know how I can hang out with you, honestly. This site is flowfeedback.com.
All right. Try it out, guys.
Good luck. Good luck.
Let's talk about a couple of tournaments we're going to have to just speed through. One more thing that I want to discuss on community, but I'm going to save it for the end. The DBFZ National Championships happened. That was cool, I assume. Did anybody watch?
I did not.
It's not the finals yet, dude. It's just they're just still going through the process.
I think part of it's over now.
Well, yeah, I think they finished off some of the regions or something like that.
Yeah, they have.
But that was like week 7, so they still haven't had like the finals. Whatever.
Okay.
Listen, Jack.
Give me the finals.
MK Pro Competition Intercontinental Combat Week 1. Waz won Oceania. Val won Europe East. Video Games Yo won Europe West. And I thought it was cool. You know, I'm a big like geography nerd. I always talk about this, like geography. And there was a match between somebody in Greece and somebody in Vladivostok, Russia, which is on the Pacific Ocean. It's right next to North Korea. And since that's all Russia, that entire territory in between, anybody from Russia can enter this tournament. So that match was like 11,000 kilometers apart, and
Sure.
I just think that is amazing. And shout out to that blast.
Roll back.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, to watch, it didn't actually look terrible, like not what you would think. But on the other hand, the guy who won it was definitely just like jumping in as Jackie because he knew that the other guy couldn't respond.
Oh no. Okay.
Correct.
The Topanga Championship is ready to go. The final block participants are set. We'll talk about that in the upcoming. And then, oh man, who's the? I didn't write down the name. The Guilty Gear streamer who's officially
Jonio-san.
Jonio. I don't know how I blanked. Yeah. He's given it a stop. That was supposed to have been in community news, but there you go.
Yeah, he was one of the main guys helping run Mikado Arcade. He was doing all the streaming there. He's a very strong Johnny player. Really, really solid guy who's done so much. But I don't think Mikado is closing, but he's just done doing the fighting game stuff, and that is definitely very hurtful for the Guilty Gear scene because he's done so much there. Hopefully someone can step up and take over the mantle of what he does at Mikado, but we'll see.
The last tournament that I wanted to talk about in tournament results was a local.
Okay.
Congratulations to Boondock Frames for winning Tekken 7, Chippies for winning Street Fighter 5, Mercy, I have none, winning Soul Calibur, Iron Mooses winning Sam Show, Old Gods winning Marvel Infinite, Carried by Jops winning DBFZ, and Drake and Josh winning Ultra Street Fighter 4 at an offline local in New Zealand. That took place over the past weekend.
Must be nice.
Congratulations to everybody involved.
Man.
Dude, what I wouldn't give to be able to go to a fucking local right now.
Perth, Australia also had an offline local. So some places are doing it.
They can. They don't have COVID.
Some places are doing it.
Must be nice.
I imagine it's nice. In upcoming events, you can watch the Topanga Championship Finals. That is this coming weekend. The top people who finished in it, the final block, I should say, Kawano, Itazan, Fudo, Bonchan, Pugera, and Gachikun. Which means players like Daigo, Tokido, etc. did not make it into the final one. So that's this weekend. That's Friday through Sunday, 7 p.m. Japan time each day on openrec.tv/team/Topanga TV.
Okay.
There's a Marvel 2 event from Yipes and Arturo, etc. called, for some reason, Test Your Might. I don't know why they called it that.
No, it's Battle of the Strongest.
Well, they're saying it's not Battle of the Strongest.
Yeah, well, that says it on the screen.
I mean, those are two different things, right?
Explicitly.
I thought it was Battle of the Strongest.
P.S. This is not Bots 4. Just a fun side.
Right. Cool.
Anyway, it's Battle for the Strongest. No, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was Battle for the Strongest.
No, it's like Bots Presents, but they're trying to differentiate it for whatever reason. It will have Yipes, Stanford Kelly, Executioner, Josh 360, Josh Wigfall, Matrix, Mike Infinite, G Concepts, Video, Just Amazing Thriller.
So it is the same thing, but not the same thing. In other words, so there's not going to be a Test Your Might and a Battle of the Strongest. It is one thing basically.
Battle of the Strongest brings you Test Your Might.
Okay, interesting.
That's the deal.
There you go. Oh, I see why you added that as well. Okay, and then the Killer Instinct Insurrection qualifier number 2 by Nikki FGC. That is December 17th, 5 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, that'll be 2 days from now. I'll be helping commentary with that on the ever so highly publicized Trovo.live alternate streaming service. So definitely check that out.
What did you say it was on?
Yeah.
Trovo.live.
Trovo.live / what?
Brutal Democracy.
Okay, there you go.
Sweet.
Trovo.
I've totally watched lots of Trovo.
Yeah.
You know, I hadn't heard about it until James was telling me about it earlier today. And when we looked at it, it's like remarkably similar to Twitch.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, come on.
I mean, there's a way to make it look like it's its own thing, because Mixer didn't look the same, Facebook Live doesn't look the same.
Yeah, but those have failed miserably.
But
Let's go with the working formula. Some shade of purple or aqua color. I want to see boxes of the streamers I like. Come on, man.
Yeah, again, the test your might thing, I don't know why they called it that, but it is Marvel 2.
Yep.
All right, that's all I got for upcoming. But I did want to circle back to the end of community news because there is a super cool nomination process going on, the Fight Stick Awards. And this is something both upcoming, hence why I'm doing it now, and also community. It is basically for the best fight sticks of the year. This is on reddit.com/r/fightsticks. Community dedicated to it, which I also definitely follow and have been for a long time. There are nomination categories including best artwork / theme, best wiring. I'm looking forward to that one. Best, I'm not joking. Best
I know
DIY,
you're not joking.
Yeah, that was the funny part is you weren't joking.
Yeah. Best DIY stick design, best stick accessory, best overall mix box, best overall hit box, best
Are you
overall
gonna submit the split box?
and weirdest / funniest stick. Well, I was thinking about doing that, but mine is actually a couple years old at this point, so I don't think that I qualify.
I'm gonna make a new one, man.
Dude, you'll just win the Newcomer Stick of the Year award then.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. As the Game Awards have shown us, a game can come out 5 years ago, 10 years ago even, and win an award today.
Best newcomer fight stick of 2013?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, very good. So the rules for this are basically just you can nominate whatever build, including your own. You can put it up there on the site. The judging will be 9 people, including some people who you will know, like Jimmy Wen, who's in Level Up, Jabali, Phantomeria, Markman, John D, Alex Myers, a couple mods of our fight sticks, including Winged Insect and Hush My Sweet. And this is being done with Mr. Sujano, who's got a YouTube channel. And you can check that all out. They're going to be doing the judging, which is pretty cool. As far as prizes, it's going to be
they win a stick.
You'll be featured in a video that Mr. Sujano will do. You will have maybe some additional flair and so forth. It's not like it's not like a huge money operation here, but I do think that it's super cool. And I looked through a lot of the sticks. There's a lot of super cool ideas in there, extremely pretty ideas in there as well. There's some really unique takes on things.
Dude, someone tell Shoegazer and get his friend. They were the ones who did the Soundwave joystick and the Bedman joysticks and stuff like that. Like some really sick stuff.
Yeah, I really recommend checking it out because there's a ton of really, really interesting artwork on there. I'm going to put the link to this in the chat right now. Okay. And I'll put it on the YouTube video as well. And Toshin has just put a link to Mr. Shijano's Twitter where, again, that's being discussed. So I think that's super cool. Very cool idea. Looking forward to seeing who wins and so forth.
Cool.
All right. That's all I got, folks.
So where are here's the community nominations. I see. Got it. Yeah. Okay, cool.
It's quite a long list. I thought about asking you to put it on stream, but it's just quite
there's a lot of them here. Wow. Okay, cool.
But I checked through it. There's a lot of really, really cool ideas.
Yeah, I definitely want to check these out. Okay.
All right. That's it.
I guess there's also going to be a Tong Never Sleeps finals coming up this week.
Yeah, for the ranking battle. So you're seeded based on how you ranked overall in the Tampa Never Sleep season, and then there's also 2 last chance qualifier spots. I might just go win one real quick. No big deal. Get in that tournament.
Okay.
But
you should go win one real quick. Yeah, that sounds like a blast.
But so that's happening this weekend, I believe.
Hanukkah cookies. I specifically went out and bought Hanukkah cookies. They're dairy free, so that you can have them while eating meat, if you're a Jew. And I got them because I was thinking, I'm not gonna have normal Hanukkah this year. It's just, we're not gonna go visit my family or anything like that. So we are just staying inside, and I kind of miss the old school going to synagogue, hanging out with friends and family Hanukkahs. Let's get a cookie that reminds me of that. And these absolutely do. I don't know if there's any Jews in the chat, but you know the terrible cookies that they give you at like an Oneg or some other similar situation that
Sure,
are
yeah,
all
totally.
lactose free. You guys aren't going to know what I'm talking about, but
I'm there. I'm with you. I
they're
know.
terrible, but at the same time, they like taste like a Hanukkah as a kid to me. So
Nostalgia.
true. Yeah, it's absolutely nostalgia. Kentley took a single bite and put it down. It wasn't even like it was worth like making a stink over how terrible it was. She just put it down and was like, I have fun with your nostalgia.
Yeah, you enjoy those.
Yeah.
This is like making ratatouille for a food critic, man.
Not good. I understand, but here we are.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Like being a kid.
I have
That's
nothing.
it. See ya.
They showed the top 64. They have the top 64 or top 32, I think it is. What is it? 8. Yeah, I think it's top 32 for Tekken Worlds coming up. Kyle P is in that, as well as a couple of other US players like Ryuzu and Spooky Milani, and who else was in there? There was a couple of other US players, but they showed all the deck usages and stuff like that, and it's kind of what you would expect to see. So I'm pretty excited about that coming up. The finals are going to be on December 26th, which is the day after Christmas, obviously, so it'll be very interesting, but I'm eager to see how that goes. So there you go.
All right. Let's skedaddle.
All right. Birdum.
You. By the way, I'm about to run what's called a multiplayer ad. And this is something that Twitch is trying. Let me know what this even is. I don't know. It told me to run it. We'll see.
What does it
Let me know what this thing is.
What does it do?
It plays multi-ads.
When a multiplayer ad is triggered, viewers in the channel watch the same ad and then are presented a poll afterward. Voting in the poll helps support you, the streamer, via bits. I don't know, I guess. So, we'll see. Let me know what it looks like. I'm curious just to know.
Okay. All right. Good night, everybody.
Later, guys.
Who's your favorite Jersey Mike sub? I'm going with other.